This young man is confused when he sees that he has been reborn as Hansiha, a third-rate villain eliminated right from the start. Hansiha is a talented but lazy person always on the verge of failure because he is interested in dark magic, which leads to a tragic end. Due to his petty nature and inability to overcome his own greed, this person will ultimately perish like a redundant character. The young man screams, holding his face in despair. Damn it! Why was I reborn in the body of someone like this? It's bad enough to become a disposable villain, but the moment I inherit this body is also tragic. Around him are the sounds of pigs squealing loudly as if recording ASMR, and the sounds behind him allow him to determine that this is indeed the dwelling of dark wizards. This is the time when Hansiha, who was once highly anticipated, due to his innate magical potential, was briefly recognized but ultimately ostracized at the academy due to a lack of practical skills. Who is the kid that begged to come in here just once? He claims to be a student of Aiden Academy. In the end, he fell into darkness and sought out dark wizards at tragic turning point. If he is a student of Aiden Academy, it might be useful. Follow me, kid. At this moment, the young man can only force a smile in agreement. Along the way, the dark wizard asked him if he knew the procedure for joining. The young man understands this better than anyone else. Once blood is taken from a member, and an oath is sworn to dark magic, one cannot leave this place. How could I not know the organization of dark wizards that Hansiha wants to join is an empty evil force that will be completely eliminated by the protagonist in the novel. If he associates with dark wizards, Hansiha will also be destroyed by the protagonist. If that's the case, rather than going with this person, I need to find a way to escape this death trap immediately. The system begins to synchronize the story with Hansiha's perspective. After completing the synchronization, the system screen displays a bright red warning, "Warning. Escape from the dark wizards." The young man is startled and looks towards the dark wizard. He also hears a strange sound. What is that? Is something happening in the basement? I will go check. If you value your life, don't go in. Hansiha, obedient like a puppy, is actually just waiting for him to leave. He then runs for his life, fleeing desperately, but he is dumbfounded, not knowing where the exit is. A glimmer of light is shining nearby. Hansiha thinks he is going in the right direction when he suddenly discovers two dark wizards. Hansiha immediately hides behind a wall, listening as they talk about a kid who escaped from the third basement. Upon hearing this, Hansiha is startled. Damn it, they are talking about me. A black demon seems suspicious. It's said that he is a student of Aiden Academy. Could he be a spy? After a moment of silence, Hansiha dared to peek out and then ran straight towards the door that was covered in chains. He pushed hard, but it didn't budge at all. In this situation, he could only rely on his memory. A useless person like Hansiha could still do something. In fact, Hansiha had no talent other than white magic, but he was born with magical power. With the amount of uncontrolled magic, he couldn't even distinguish what to aim for. In other words, in the current situation, he just needed to control it. When the protagonist of the novel Lihan first learned about magic, he was taught to adjust the flow of blood to his fingertips. The young man applied everything he remembered, feeling confused and anxious. I'm begging you, Hansiha, please succeed. He made some progress after a while, but ultimately his skills were still too poor, so it went nowhere. Suddenly he heard footsteps approaching. He thought he had been discovered. In a moment of panic, this adorable creature revealed itself. The young man was astonished to see a dragon, or rather a baby dragon. It was whining and acting cute as if it wanted to be held. How did it get here, and why was it so close to him? Although it looked quite cute, Hansiha had to stay alert. I can't take you with me. It's hard enough to take care of myself. It seemed to understand these words. Its eyes immediately welled up with tears, and it began to cry softly. In this urgent situation, the sound of crying made Hansiha confused about where to hide it. I'm going to die. Are you trying to get me caught? I really can't take care of an animal that I can't handle. In a moment of hesitation, looking back at the dragon, he suddenly had an idea. Should I use its power then? The system is synchronizing the stats based on the characteristics of the owner. The evolutionary power is increasing, the relationship has improved, and the taming ability has been unlocked. Do you want to tame the strange baby beast? The baby beast seems to like you a lot. The system briefly provided information about the dragon. This is a level 2 baby beast magic, 50 strength, 60 agility, 35 intelligence, 10 fire breathing skill level 1. Hansiha began to calculate and fiddled with the accept button on the system panel. The system is in a bad mood now. Let the system finish explaining first. The taming ability has been unlocked. Do you want to tame the strange baby beast? Hansiha hesitated and petted the dragon for a while. Well, maybe I should say something like, I will tame you like the protagonist in that novel. In reality, the young man was quite confident as he had experience and some unique gestures and techniques for taming. For now he would calm it down and build trust. Hansiha looked straight into the dragon's eyes. "Trust me." The sweet words were finished, but there was still no reaction. The young man thought he must have made a mistake somewhere. Just then the system announced taming successful. The little dragon suddenly flew up glowing and then returned with a docile, dazed and adorable demeanor. Did I really tame it? Is that all it takes? I guess I need to figure this out more. The young man wanted to test its ability. All right then, little dragon, follow this first command. Break that lock. After receiving the command, the little dragon eagerly approached the door. In just one strike, it could shatter that huge piece of metal in an instant. Hansiha was incredibly proud. Well done, little dragon. Now I just need to open the door and escape. He thought everything was going smoothly, but it wasn't. At the fateful moment, he heard footsteps nearby. Hansiha seemed to have been discovered. Is that a mouse hiding here? They rushed in and shouted, "Catch him!" Hansiha felt weak and helpless. In fact, at this moment, his mind couldn't come up with any ideas. Think, oh my God, you have to think of a way to get out of this situation. The young man suddenly remembered the mist skill. This was the first defensive spell learned at the academy. True to its name, it created a fog to conceal oneself. He had never actually used it, but now seemed like the right time. First he breathed steadily and focused energy into his fingertips, then imagined filling the entire cave with white smoke. Hansiha trembled while doing it, praying, please let it work just this once. Although he was now Hansiha, he still cursed the original Hansiha. He reincarnated into I'm the one cleaning up all the mess you made, you brat. So please, in that fateful moment the spell truly took effect. A misty smoke was created, and Hansiha could officially take advantage of this opportunity to hide. The dark mages were furious. That damn brat is pulling this cheap trick again. He immediately tried to escape with the little dragon, but pushing the door wouldn't budge. Soon after he was pulled back by the dark mage's power. You think escaping is that easy? Hansiha couldn't breathe now. He desperately thought, could this really be the outcome of the story? The dark mage laughed sinisterly. If you surrender, at least I'll let you go peacefully. Hansiha, collapsing, wanted to curse. Damn it! You're not going to let me live anyway. The mist obstructed his opponents, and in his memory there was no way to break this dark magic. The only variable could be the dragon. He turned to look straight into its worried eyes and said, if you really want to get out of here, I'm sorry for taming you with my poor skill, but can you help me? At the moment of receiving the command, the little dragon seemed to gain 100% of its strength. It roared and charged straight at the dark mage, breathing fire to incinerate. Unexpectedly, Hansiha felt overjoyed as he realized he had temporarily escaped. The two mages were struggling because it was too hot and they did not understand what was happening. Hansiha looked at the dragon with an incredibly proud expression. This little one actually managed to break the spell. After receiving praise and knowing its master was safe, the little dragon joyfully jumped over and wanted him to pet it. Hansiha grinned and said, I didn't expect to owe you my life like this. I will take you with me as promised, but we need to get out of this god-forsaken cave first. Outside, the weather was sweltering, and wherever Hansiha and the little dragon went, they left footprints. Currently, he had been walking through the desert for about an hour but hadn't seen anyone at all. Suddenly he wished he would rather be caught by those dark mages again. Then, unexpectedly from a distance, the young man saw a carriage. He excitedly shouted, Hey sir, can you give us a ride? Do you have any money? Hansiha rummaged around and only found a card. Can I swipe this card, please? This is the card issued by the Aiden Academy. The young man thought to himself, with the reputation of the Aiden Academy, people would accept it everywhere, even outside the Aiden Kingdom it should work. Sure enough, the owner agreed to let him on the carriage after asking where they were going. The young man, completely dumbfounded, rushed outside without thinking that the dark mages would soon chase after him. They didn't want their information to be revealed. Once they found him, it would definitely be the end. I have no other option. That place is where almost everyone there wants to take my life, but right now it is actually the safest place in the context of this novel. There is only one place. Sir, please take me to the Aiden Academy. In the academy's space, Selene, a second-year teaching assistant, was savoring the luxury from the lavish marble floor to the sparkling chandeliers. Even the students' uniforms created an atmosphere of neatness and elegance. Suddenly Selene's face twisted when she saw the carriage at the entrance. What the heck is this, seeing Hansiha stepping down from the carriage, dusting off his clothes? Selene shuddered. How could there be such a rude student in this sacred academy? With a wrinkled and disheveled face, Hansiha took off his hat to reveal the little dragon hiding in Selene's belly, covering its face with an evaluative look. Who would ruin the dignity of the Aiden Academy on the very first day of the semester? It turned out to be Hansiha, who almost failed, because he couldn't control his only talent, innate magical power. He was trying to calm the little dragon, keeping it still in his belly to avoid being discovered. The young man saw the girl staring at him and thought to himself, who is she? She looks like a professor from the academy. He approached, appearing sincere. Hello, ma'am. Could it be that I'm late? Yes, I'm late. Selene appeared to be annoyed. Anyway, there's nothing to worry about. There's no time to care for a talentless student, so just let it go. He's not worth my attention. Moreover, that kid is really strange. I've heard he has an interest in dark magic, and there are even rumors that he sleeps with a doll every night. Getting involved with him won't lead to anything good. Selene waved her hand. All right, hurry inside. Hansiha smiled brightly. Thank you, I'll come early from now on. Right after that, he quickly ran into the lecture hall, feeling that being a second-year student made the atmosphere a bit different. As soon as he entered, all the judgmental and annoyed looks were directed at him. Isn't that Hansiha still as weird as ever? He arrived here by horse-drawn carriage? Sitting quietly in one place, smiling on the outside but feeling heavy-hearted. Am I doomed? The first day of the semester had to be today, right? But at least I arrived before the professor. What luck! The classmates continued to gossip. He was late on the first day. How could he even attend class? They thought he must have failed. He probably had to beg to be allowed in class. Hansiha sat there quietly and couldn't believe his family had bribed anyone to get him into class. Or maybe some professor recognized his exceptional magical talent and wrote a recommendation letter. Anyway, I'm really in my second year now, but I have to find a way to survive in this dark fantasy novel. First, divide the survival purpose into two goals. The first is to quietly survive here. The lowly villain Hansiha, both violent and talentless, had his life ended by being buried alive by the main characters. Since the academy was closed at that time, the exact cause of death remained unclear. If that's the case, then I am the unfortunate one with too many mysteries, as I don't know what crime the previous Hansiha committed to meet his end. So I will live quietly and carefully. I'd rather die from overwork than be buried alive. The second is to definitely graduate safely. Why? Well, because after all, I still need to make a living in this world. Even though I come from a wealthy family, because of what Hansiha did in the novel, I have basically been ostracized. In fact, a degree from Aiden Academy would serve as a reliable retirement plan. Graduates from Aiden Academy are sought after everywhere. Instead of getting involved with the main character and entangled in the events that lead to my death, as in the original novel, I'd rather live like a normal student. I will prevent all situations that could lead to Hansiha losing his life. While my determination was burning bright, the professor opened the door and walked in. It was Professor Green, also the teacher responsible for the second-year students. According to Hansiha's memory, he recognized this as the professor in charge of the second-year quality assessment from the Department of Magic. Professor Green's test was so difficult that even the main character Li Han struggled. Just with a cane, Professor Green looks very serious. This year, the second-year students are quite good. I've already spotted a few standout faces. Hansiha doesn't understand why he's sitting there grinning. That's right. Since the main characters are all in their second year, the quality of students this year will be quite high. Anyway, the conditions this year are unfavorable for my survival here, meaning Hansiha's position in the academy is threatened. Aiden Academy accepts students from 14 to 19 years old. The study process lasts for 6 years and is also very famous for its rigorous curriculum. As a result, the competitiveness among the students also increases, and the academy is increasingly resembling a battleground. Among the students, only 10% graduate with high scores, which makes Hansiha very anxious. How can I compete with the main character? In the original novel, Hansiha would get involved with dark magic and enhance his powers very quickly, but since I have decided to live modestly that way, is basically impossible. While the young man was lost in thought, the teacher continued speaking. Of course, there are many students who haven't met the standards this year. From now on, those who still lack skills will not be allowed to participate in this class. At this point, he suddenly felt uneasy, realizing that the teacher was indeed looking at him. After hitting the cane, strongly Green declared, "Now I will announce the test schedule immediately." In front of Hansiha appeared the notification, "Based on your experiences at the academy last year, you should choose 3 subjects and take theoretical and practical tests." Hansiha was still overwhelmed. The teacher used an illusion spell to project the notification. Wow, this illusion is quite elaborate. Is this really the level of magic at Aiden Academy? But being able to freely choose the test subjects means everyone can pick their strengths and easily complete the tests right. The test by Professor Green can't be that simple. The professor continued, "Now I will explain the subject selection part. The number of students allowed to choose each subject is limited, and those who choose first will have priority. The order in which you choose subjects will be random, I will take the balls with your names from this box to determine the order. Hansiha was astonished, furrowing his brow, scrunching his face. Huh! A lottery at the Magic Academy? Why do we still have to rely on luck here? Given the current situation, I am almost blind to magic, so if I want to choose subjects I can handle, I need to be as early as possible. What bad luck! I have used up all my luck this year to escape that dark magic. The professor began to draw each ball. The moment he opened his mouth to announce Hansiha felt uneasy and started sweating. The first student chosen for a subject was Hansiha. After hearing his name, the young man immediately stood up without hesitation. He shouted, "Yes, it's me!" Inside he was incredibly happy. "This is great, I got selected." Since he was still not familiar with magic, he would skip the practical-oriented subjects, avoiding those related to soul-summoning techniques, which were not in the novel. However, after reading everything, Hansiha was stunned by the difficulty of it. He was reading about the subject of exploring number theory and magic formulas. This subject, just by its name, seems difficult, but it is the only remaining easy subject and also theoretical, so if he memorizes it well, there is hope he can manage it. The students were buzzing when they saw Hansiha choose mathematics. What is this? That guy just chose mathematics, forget it. He said he would handle it himself, and since Fong asked him, I would have an easier time getting points. On Hansiha's side, he was urging himself to quickly choose the other two subjects. Suddenly he was captivated by your eyes. He seems to have discovered a true favorite subject. Before he got exhausted from overworking and crossed into this world, he had been an intern veterinarian. The three subjects he chose were also similar to the majors in the veterinary department. First was exploration and learning magical formulas, using the arithmetic formulas of this world, but could probably still use the math formulas he knew. Next was monster anatomy, introduction to basic beast taming in behavioral science. Although a bit worried, having a little dragon by his side should help a lot. Hansiha felt a bit uneasy. The timing was not right. There were too many eyes and ears around. Hansiha couldn't even control his magic power. Suddenly managed to tame a little dragon. Isn't this the perfect scenario to raise suspicions? Or is it unnecessary attention? He decided to take the dragon to a more private place. Now you can freely fly around after the period of confinement. This place is the basement of Aiden Academy, a training dungeon. Since Hansiha already grasped part of the theory, he now needed to work on his taming skills. The young man confidently walked in, asking the manager here, "Give me a ticket to the training area for beginners." Looking at his appearance, the female manager seemed a bit hesitant. He's not even mature yet, but he brought a dragon into the beginner training area. "May I have the names of both of you? I am Hansiha, second year." "And what is this little one's name?" After receiving a silly question, the dragon also showed an expression that was hard to look at. The expression of "I don't know what that is." "You don't have a name and want me to name you. Do you want me to choose a cool name? Since you are a dragon, I'll name you the Jack or Charadontosaurus. From back in the day, that name is the coolest." Although a bit long, the dragon's face clearly showed helplessness and irritation. Hansiha also understood that its state was not pleased. "You are quite picky." After a moment of thinking, he decided to choose the name Bassin. The area manager confirmed, "Then I will register the name Bassin." The training area for two already had one person inside. "We also have a weapon rental service for students. It's free, so it's a bit shabby." Hansiha knew that this was not the time to be picky. He needed to be grateful for what he had. After holding the weapon and getting ready, the manager opened door number 1 of the beginner training area. Second-year student Hansiha and Bassin were stepping inside. In an instant, he found himself in an entirely different space, though it felt a bit fake. "The quality here is insane. I guess that's slime. Even though it's a low-level monster, is this half-hearted design okay? Bassin, do you see those cubes? Now I'm going to blow them up." I thought I would get to show off, but Bassin went crazy and charged in, biting the slime to the point that it splattered goo all over my face. Hansiha looked at it helplessly. Has Bassin's dragon instinct awakened? Where did that scared look go? Now it's like a fish in water. Since Bassin seems to be fine, I guess I will just train. Just when things were getting started, I don't understand why the slimes came rushing in so thick, even looking at Hansiha with a greedy expression. To take down all these monsters at once, I need some help. Bassin, are you ready? After it landed on your shoulder, looking ready. Bassin immediately got to work. Let's try our last move again. Those cubes knock them away. You threw Bashin forward, letting it breathe fire to incinerate the slimes with this intense heat. It seemed like everything turned to ash. Hansiha was stunned, knocked back. Bashin was happy, proud to be lifted by Hansiha, now even praising itself. "Yeah, that's right. You're doing great. Keep it up." After half a day of fighting like a bull at a grave, it seems everything is done. Slime bodies were bouncing everywhere. While practicing magic, Hanshiha kept taming Bashin. Having just cast a protective spell, it now feels like I'm about to collapse. Anyway, I'm happy that this dragon seems to be very obedient. I must definitely give it something delicious when we get back. While lying still in a daze, I heard a loud scream. No way, it can't be. Don't wander off anymore, catch them. Hanshiha curiously leaned down to see what was going on. Below, there was a helpless girl kneeling in this row alongside a dog growling and struggling. The girl seemed to be trying to calm it down. Hanshiha propped up his hands, watching with an amused expression. That's an infernal hound, right? You shouldn't treat it like that. The girl lost her cool and shouted, "Sit down, come back here quickly, where do you think you're going?" After the dog ran away, the girl searched everywhere, looking very annoyed and frustrated. "You dare to run? Just wait until I catch you." Just then I heard soothing sounds. "Are you okay? Good boy, sit down, let's shake hands. That's right, sit down, great job, great job." Passing through the bushes, I saw Bashin petting the dog really, and it was lying obediently as if enjoying it. The girl recognized Hanshiha as soon as she saw him. The girl slowly approached, feeling a bit shy, afraid it would run away again. The girl slowly approached, feeling a bit nervous, afraid it might run away again. Hanshiha, leaning on his hand, asked, "Is this your hunting dog? I've been watching you all this time, but this is not how you tame a hellhound." After hearing that, the girl looked a bit dazed. "You are too fierce." When a beast Tamer is tense, the dog gets even more agitated. After receiving these words, the girl panicked. "What is this? Is Hanshiha giving me advice?" This girl's name is Adele from the Aiden Academy, the most prestigious environment in the Kingdom of Aiden. A mage of the earth has never been below the 3rd rank, even though she is from a common background and faces many troubles. Although she has talent, only a few students can match her skills. However, since the entrance exam is determined by a lottery, she had to choose her weakest subject, which is basic beast taming. Adele feels very unlucky. "Right, I know my taming skills are still weak. That's why I'm practicing here, but my opponent is Hanshiha, who hasn't even tamed a slime in his first year. There's even a rumor that he's obsessed with dark magic. This morning I saw him looking weak and gloomy. But what's the situation now? He's holding the dog so intimately and making it completely submit." Edel lowered herself and asked to learn, "How did you do that?" "This one, it's not agitated anymore, you can take it now." After holding the hellhound in her hands, Edel hesitated and said, "Thank you." Hanshiha somewhat curiously asked why she chose the hellhound. For someone learning beast taming for the first time, it's quite difficult. The harder the monster is to tame, the higher the points. Adele wants to be first in the basic beast taming exam. Hanshiha is unusually calm, which shocks the maid. "What the hell? I thought you liked mud baths or something." Could it be that Hanshiha has always been like this? He talks to me normally even though he's a noble and I'm a commoner. The monster next to him cannot be. It's a baby dragon, and he's already tamed a dragon in his 2nd year, keeping it by his side. The Hanshiha I used to know feels like he's become a different person with such a bright and kind smile. In the end, Adele followed Hanshiha without thinking much, believing that this was a good thing and that she would get more hints to tame the hellhound. "You were here just now, right? I almost swept them all away, but they instantly respawned. This is the training area, so step aside, I will handle them right away." The moment Adele drew her sword, the slimes became very angry and charged. After some divine slashing moves, a series of slimes were eliminated, buried in the ground. Hanshiha watched and felt quite impressed. "This method is tough." "You seem to enjoy burying them alive, huh?" "Oh, smiling on the outside, but feeling uncomfortable inside." "Should I bury myself with them too?" Suddenly a series of slimes flew up into the sky, creating a speckled slime mass. They attacked from behind, catching Adele off guard. Hanshiha stood right behind and cut them down, saving Adele a fan. Hanshiha innocently warned, "There's something behind you." "I knew it really, that's lucky then." Adele is strong-willed, but in reality she didn't notice a monster approaching from behind. The accuracy of the bow spell Hanshiha just performed is not something a newcomer could achieve. The girl had a completely different look, coupled with curiosity to explore more about Hanshiha. Strange light streams and ominous sounds emerged. Is this caused by the devices in the dungeon? I don't know. Shortly after this incident was reported to the principal. "Dear principal, an emergency situation has occurred in the training area for newcomers in the underground dungeon." "What is happening?" "Who is in the dungeon?" "It's the 2nd-year students, Adele and Hanshiha." "The principal has a clear distinction. This is troublesome. Adele is fine, but Hanshiha is different. Without talent or skills, he can't survive in the dungeon." "Where did the error occur when the dungeon's magic algorithm malfunctioned, causing monsters to become strong and unusually large beyond the dungeon's level?" Everyone is prepared for the worst regarding Hanshiha and Adele. They are still focused on defending against all dangers. The mottled things on the ground made Adele scream. "Look at those crazy glitched slimes, they're burning down the entire grass patch. No matter how many I take down, they just keep coming. I swear once I get out of here, I'll never look at slime salad again. Hansiha smiled awkwardly, not really understanding what slime salad is. He thought Adele would be exhausted from these slime attacks, but unexpectedly she was still perfectly fine. Her taming skills are still quite poor, but her earth magic is very powerful. Up until now, Hansiha still doesn't know who this friend is. Could she be an earth mage destined to become a great mage? No way. That scary Adele can't just hang around in a newbie training area like this. Moreover, sorcerers are not rare, and most importantly, unlike the legends describe, she is very kind, although a bit hot-tempered. She doesn't look down on Hansiha, who is known for being talentless, which means her personality is already great. Seeing Hansiha standing there nodding like a chicken, there is a bit of annoyance and confusion. Hey, why do you keep nodding without coming here to help me out? Strange, just take it easy. Hansiha remains unshaken amidst the chaos of life. Nothing. I'm just calculating the time. We've been in this dungeon for 3 hours. Why haven't we heard anything? Don't they know I'm stuck? Edel replied, sounding as if it was breaking news. Only 30 minutes have passed outside. Time moves slower here, so I can practice. At this point, Hansiha finally understood. Even if they discover and come to rescue, they would still have to endure a few more hours. To put it practically, continuing to resist like this is impossible. The slimes are becoming more and more corrupted and bizarre. Earl doesn't like to hear negative words and immediately responds, "Why are you being so pessimistic? We're not just sitting around waiting to die." Hansiha jokingly raised both hands. "You act like I'm just waiting for my ancestors to come for me. Why are you stalling for me? You'll find out soon. Don't let the slimes get too close, it will be quick. Why are you getting all worked up already? Do you want me to handle all of them by myself? Meanwhile, what are you planning to do?" Hansiha still stands there motionless, not even responding. Adele shouted, "Are you ignoring me? If you can't handle this after I've used all my magic to buy you time, you'll regret it." Hansiha remained calm, smiling as if he had a plan. "See, I told you she's not a bad person. A girl like that can't be ruthless." The dragon kept whining, seemingly curious about the master's plan. The novel Soul Academy mentions how to deal with corrupted dungeons, showcasing the differences in abilities between the main character Li Han and Hansiha. There was a method that Hansiha tried and spectacularly failed. After clearing the bushes, the young man was excited to find glowing vines. He shouted, "Dad, please go find similar vines." Hansiha in the novel used this method and was cursed by readers for life, but he didn't think this guy was stupid enough to be bullied like that. As for Adele, she was still using all her strength to fight against the slimes. She felt that continuing to use magic was too much. Her stamina had already reached its limit. After a while of fiddling, Hansiha exclaimed, "Done?" The moment Adele turned around, she was completely shocked. "What? You want me to resist, to build a shield?" Hansiha confidently waved Adele inside, but it seems the girl still didn't trust him much. "Hurry up with whatever you're doing, the slimes are respawning again. Just come over here." In the novel, it's very simple: build a defensive wall and eliminate the monsters outside. Basin overlooked 2 important points and failed, which are fire and magical enhancement. However, right now you can control both of those things. The young man immediately got to work creating arrows from magic, unexpectedly succeeding spectacularly. The next plan just needs to add fire magic to the arrows. The next thing, you can completely rely on Basin. After their eyes met, Basin breathed fire onto the arrows. Then the arrows will be controlled to attack the slimes. The fire shot straight up into the sky, then burst like fireworks. The heat of the fire slowly fell down, melting all the slimes. Obviously, those inside the shield are safe. The moment I opened my eyes, that was full of surprises. This is truly Hansiha's magic. Is that hopeless? The optimistic young man turned to say, "When you bury the slimes around here, remember to spread the leftover parts all over the ground. The slime's toxins react explosively when they come into contact with fire magic. At this moment, the best way is to attack with magical power and fire. That will solve everything." Do you understand what I'm saying? I was grimacing. Does your plan also consider avoiding that rain of fire falling into this shield? A good observation: this vine has a fire resistance effect. Now we have burned everything around. Just rest until the rescue team arrives. The young man thought he was about to die. After using all his magical power in this moment between reality and dreams, Adele still couldn't believe that the one who saved her was Hansiha the noble from the academy. Adele usually didn't care about the lives of the common people. Seeing Adele stare at him, Hansiha even had the audacity to ask directly, "Why are you looking at me like that? Are you grateful to me?" Adele didn't deny it and replied, "Well, I am a little grateful. But if it's a bizarre request, it would be hard to fulfill." Hansiha got straight to the point. "Then keep the secret for me that I tamed your hunting dog, caught the defective slimes, and used the vines as a shield." In general, everything that happened today, I want you to keep it a secret. Over there it's understandable for Sam to feel a bit suspicious, but why do I feel strange? There is indeed something very strange here. What the hell is this bastard doing? Hansiha was fiddling with the gemstones scattered on the ground. This looks like a slime gem. After everything that happened, the dungeon was cleaned up hastily. The professors were quite confused about the defective dungeon, but decided to reward the students who completed the dungeon without serious injuries. They were also called to the principal's office. Hansiha sat in the room looking up at the sky and sighing. Dad, the reward will surely be useful when graduating, but right now, there's something more important to focus on. You called Basin back and checked its information. Ba Sin Atarisis, a cheerful red dragon that loves cheese and is very friendly. Level 5 ability magic power, 53 strength, 63 agility, 38 intelligence, 3. Level 3 fire breathing skill, level 1 magic resistance, level 2 poison resistance. Hansiha seemed very pleased. Good, the fire skill has improved quite a bit perhaps, because in the dungeon it had breathed fire when excited. As for poison resistance, this seems to be a skill acquired after encountering a glitch slime. I don't know what the dark mages keep in the dungeon, but this creature is not only a precious dragon, but also born with extraordinary talent. Excellent growth rate, precise breath control, strong magic power. It is truly a monstrous creature in every aspect. Luckily it is now in my hands. I must raise it well. You smiled and said to Basin, "You worked hard to get this, did you know?" "This is slime gem," the young man thought to himself while smiling. That short-haired guy treats it like trash. But this overwhelming item has not been revealed yet in the early part of the novel. Hansiha was tempting Basin to try it once, but the dragon looked terrified. "What's wrong? It's really delicious, give it a try. Eating 1 or 2 pieces is fine, it's really tasty." While coaxing like that, Hansiha swore he probably wouldn't want to try it even if he died. Although it didn't look happy, Basin decided to close its eyes and eat because it obeyed its master. As soon as the gem melted in its mouth, it stiffened as if struck by lightning, then ran to a corner and kept vomiting. Hansiha knew for sure that the taste was terrible, but anyway, thanks to it, Basin's stats had changed. The dragon's face was scrunched up in anger, as if it had just been cheated. Currently, Basin's magic power has increased, and its fire-breathing magic resistance and poison resistance skills have also leveled up. Slime gem is an item that enhances the stats of the one who eats it, focusing on the inherent abilities of slime. Even though it was only 1 gem, it increased the magic power stat that would normally take a long time to grow. It seems that it has also realized this change, which is why, despite being horrified to the point of nausea, it is determined to dive into the bag and eat the slime gems with all its might. The instinct to become stronger has surpassed its appetite. In Hansiha's ears there were delightful chimes, the sound indicating that the stats had increased. At this point it sounded pleasant, like the chime of a bank when the salary arrives. While sitting quietly, someone knocked on the door and it turned out to be Dell rushing in. "Hansiha, so you are here?" The young man looked quite puzzled. "What's this?" It was that short-haired girl. She came because she was also called to the principal's office to receive a reward, right? The urgent maid explained. "Do you really not care? Are you going to let me take all the credit because I heard them say that I dealt with that faulty slime all by myself? I will get more rewards." "You heard that right." Hansiha scratched his head, feeling very relaxed, not caring much. "Oh, I'm still wondering why you came here at this time." "Well, it's okay. Can you please keep it down? My ears are hurting." For him, keeping his life was much more important than those rewards. An ordinary student from Adele Academy had taken down the faulty dungeon, and it was Bazin who was always on the verge of failure. Wouldn't this news be too sensational if it got out? There would be all kinds of rumors that you use dark magic or charms and such. You absolutely did not want to become famous this way. Adele still did not understand the issue and explained, "If you feel sorry for me, just keep it to yourself. I don't want to be unclean and steal someone else's credit because of it." Hansiha awkwardly explained, "What do you mean by feeling sorry? Oh my, I really don't even know who you are." After she said that, the girl jumped as if she heard shocking news. "What? You don't know me? How can you really not know who I am? You're not lying, are you?" With an innocent and guilty look, Hansiha replied bluntly, "Oh, am I supposed to know you? So what's your name?" "Adele," the girl replied. "Adele Stevia." Hansiha was struck dumb as if hit by lightning. The young man couldn't keep his mouth shut. "Is it really you, Adele?" At this moment Hansiha had a sky full of thoughts. If it's Adele, the only mage from a common background who constantly ranks in the top 3 of the academy, Adele, the main character who ruthlessly buried 3 lives in the novel, she would be the one to make him disappear in the future. Seeing Hansiha stunned into silence, Adele seemed pleased. So are you starting to realize who I am? In Hansiha's memory, the nonsense he had said would surely be the dirt piled on his grave. The young man was sinking into a moment of conscience, awakening. What is going on? How did things turn out like this? What did I do? Why did I suddenly accelerate my way to the grave? The maid behind continued to speak. Isn't it enough to just feel pity? And do you ever look in the mirror? Hansiha was still in a daze. The maid pulled him in front of a mirror. Look for yourself. It's hard to imagine someone going into the principal's office for a reward looking like this. After looking back with a messy face and disheveled clothes dirty, the young man couldn't believe his eyes. Who is this? Why do I look so shabby and dirty? I mean, it's gloomy in the literal sense. In this state, people wouldn't avoid me out of fear, but just because I look too dirty. At the moment he looked at himself, he had a plan for changing this appearance. First, let's deal with this hair. The next day in the academy's classroom, everyone murmured when they saw a strange figure walk in. Who is that? I feel like I've never met them before. A second-year student with this hair color. Could it be Hansiha? No way, that face can't possibly be the gloomy Hansiha. Don't you recognize him? It's definitely that guy Hansiha. I have to admit he has changed dramatically, like he has transformed into another person. Hansiha confidently strides to his usual seat, his face serious because he has heard all the compliments from those around him. Then suddenly a red-haired guy comes over. Is he joking or being serious? Is he really Hansiha? Is that so? Did he just have plastic surgery? Share the address with me. Good news? Should be shared. Hansiha instantly recognizes this red-haired guy as Chris. He is an ordinary person feeling inferior due to his background and lack of talent. He is also someone who has once bullied the poor Hansiha like a servant to satisfy his superiority complex. Chris still maintains that cocky attitude, huh? Are you embarrassed? Hansiha found himself in moments of struggle debating whether to ignore his nonsense or stand up and resist. In the moments of silence, Chris continues to joke. What's this? So cool, just got a haircut and lost your mind. Hansiha no longer wants to endure and retorts, why should I care about you? I don't even know why I should treat you well. At this unexpected attitude, Chris flares up. You dare to say that to me? Have you lost your mind, or is someone backing you up? Truly, an empty barrel makes the loudest noise. What right does a person abandoned by their family have? Hansiha doesn't like to talk much. Puts his hands in his pockets, revealing bashin. If there is anyone backing me, it's probably him. Here's my bashin, ask him. The moment the dragon steps out, Chris starts sweating, his face pale. After this reveal, not only Chris, but all the students in the class are surprised, whispering among themselves. You try to stay calm, Vomom, haha. I heard you were kicked out of your family, but you must have been given a lot of money, right? Do you think throwing money around can tame a dragon? Hansiha is extremely irritated. He had intended to stay silent, but that doesn't mean he will just endure the blows from all sides. Hansiha smirks, directly responding, Hey, you stupid commoner. Right after this impressive retort, Chris reacts by shouting, What did you say? You are really easy to provoke. I only used 2 words to get this reaction from you, truly effective. Even if it's a young one, it won't sit still. Seeing Chris's displeased face, Hansiha continues to poke fun. What's with that expression? Are you afraid of getting bitten? Don't worry, I'm not so petty as to send the dragon to bite you. Chris flares up. Vo, mom, to the end. Is this guy crazy? He doesn't even know his place. Calm down. If you have such strong opinions, then let's make a bet. With the results of the entrance exam, we will decide who the winner is and everything will be settled. Today is indeed a beautiful sunny day. Hansiha has also secured a sure bet. Crick easily bounced back resolutely, promising, If you beat me, I will bark like a dog and do whatever you want. Hansiha, radiant in demeanor, calm yet confident, was fortunate that he easily agreed like that. Now I just need to wait for the day to see him bark. As I did in my past life, I became skilled at cleaning up after making a mess. Crazy dog in the underground world, that was my past life nickname. Whenever I saw it was a hassle, I would intervene, and I have never been outdone. Before even stepping out the door, my friends shouted, Hey Hansiha, I heard you made a bet with Chris. You were really lucky not to fail, and you think you can beat Chris. We will wait for the day you bark like a dog. Hansiha gritted his teeth and sighed. Aren't there always people in every world who won't leave a kid alone when he becomes successful? After calming himself, Hansiha gently turned around and asked the boy his name. After being asked directly like that, the blond boy frowned and scowled. Hansiha bluntly replied, You and I haven't done anything to each other, so shut up and tell me your name. This great one is Fabian Zen Edwin. You really don't know my name? After hearing that, Hansiha remembered that this was the despicable royal who used his power to bully the weaker ones. In other words, he was the leader of the group that specialized in bullying. Hansiha couldn't let himself be oppressed. He decided to use a strong method. So he opened his bag and commanded, "Come on, Basin, bite him. I really allow it." After receiving the unexpected order, Basin crept out and charged straight at Fabian Zen Edwin. After the screams, the outcome was obvious. Right after dealing with them, Hansiha and Adele had arranged to meet. "Hansiha, there have been a lot of rumors about you lately. Even if you don't care about other things, getting into a fight with royalty isn't a smart choice, right? I don't care. They were the ones who started it. I'm just simply fighting back." Erdel closed his eyes, thinking to himself. He thought Hansiha was just a bully of commoners because he was a noble, but he told the dragon to bite the noble, even the royal, if they bothered him. That made him even cooler. Erdel smiled, bent down to ask Hansiha, "You really don't have any plans? It seems the nobles are no longer feeling fear. You not only told Basin to bite someone, but also bet with Chris, fighting Chris in the test even when your magic is still not perfected. Don't you know this will be very risky? What have you gotten yourself into?" With a smiling face, but Adele was asking some really confusing questions. Hansiha was sweating and replied, "You learned how to tame from me, and in return you helped me learn magic." "That's fine. This would be our last practice match. If you can defeat me, it means you can also defeat Chris with a slightly sore body." Hansha still struggled to get up, determined to continue. "All right, this time I won't be easily defeated like yesterday." And just like that, the explosive sounds continued, and the special training with Adele came to an end. Time passed, and the entrance exam day had arrived. Adele, a student from the Magic Academy, completed it in 5 minutes and 31 seconds, and was rated an A by the teacher. She was very excited, proud of the Hellhound. "Thank you, Professor." Hansiha was also surprised by this amazing ability. "The girl who once struggled with the Hellhound, I just taught her a little and she was able to tame it perfectly. I have experiences and memories from my past life, but Adele, as a newbie tamer, is definitely a talent. There's a reason she's the main character." Finally, the time has come. Hansiha is up. "Yes, sir, I'm ready." The taming test was conducted inside a barrier. The participant had to control their monster to fight a monster appropriate to their level. If victorious, they would pass. Hansiha chose Barrier C and began her journey. The moment she entered, the young man was overwhelmed when he encountered Adeptian, a snake-type monster that Li Han faced in his 3rd year. Its special appearance described in the book was enough to make you feel death just by colliding with it. Although anxious, Hansiha still tried to reassure Basin. "Basin, don't be afraid. You want to try, don't you? You want to try after absorbing the slam gem, right? What are we waiting for? Let's fight." Although panicked, Basin still had to obey his master and got to work as commanded by Hansiha. "First, get close. Usually the weak point of a snake is its eyes. Hansiha won't be careful, Basin. If it attacks with all its might and crushes us, then everything will be over. While I distract it with magic, you should move into its blind spot and then destroy its eyes." Although a bit awkward since it was his first time fighting such a large monster, the little dragon remained focused and tried its best. All commands were followed absolutely. After a fire breath through its eyes, Adeptian was completely defeated, witnessing an unbelievable scene. The professor was astonished, standing frozen for several seconds. "Oh, my Adeptian is a high-level monster that even a 3rd-level wizard struggles against. It seems the administrator forgot to remove Adeptian from the barrier, so I was about to stop the test to ensure safety. Yet here we have a Hansiha boldly completing the exam with excellence. It took a bit of time, but I defeated it, so it still counts as a success, right? To make me unable to solve a question like that after a few minutes of chin-stroking in self-satisfaction, Hansiha realized that it's best for everyone to take care of their own business. You innocently asked, "Adele, just answering one question is fine, right? What are you talking about? If you miss the top spot because of one wrong answer, you won't get the scholarship." Hansiha didn't think much and replied, "Question 27, right? I solved it. It was easy. What's the big deal?" After this seemingly simple answer, Adele was stunned. "What's wrong? Did I say something wrong? Isn't it just that you solved question 27 for real? That's the only question I couldn't solve." The young man was flustered. Just made an unpredictable move. What to do now? "I accidentally solved it. I intended to play it cool, but ended up cornering myself." Immediately, the information that only one person in the entire school answered question number 27 correctly reached the professor. "Is this a big deal? Students wouldn't be able to guess randomly. I intentionally included a question that 2nd-year students could not solve. So who answered it? That would be Hansiha. When grading apart from question 27, all the other answers were intentionally wrong. Indeed, at the academy there are all kinds of students. Clearly, he only answered the hardest question correctly to showcase his skills. Mentioning this name, the professor had a strong impression. Hansiha. Why is he also a standout student in the recent Pure test? Maybe he's someone who knows how to consider the future. The next day, the rankings for the second-year entrance exam were posted on the notice board. Hansiha eagerly checked the results to see how it went. Chris ranked 32 as usual, but what about mine? No way I'm 11th when I intentionally answered wrong so badly. Crick was trembling, glancing over at Hansiha. Upon seeing him, Hansiha walked over. Hey, come here. You called him with just a finger, no different from calling a dog. In terms of results, Hansiha won the bet. Crick had also spread it to other students. That bastard Crick must have faded away. He always boasts by targeting easy marks, but I knew this day would come. In front of Hansiha, he no longer had the grandeur of that commoner. What do you think 1 plus 10 equals? Rick hesitated to answer something with the number 2. Hansiha handed him a rural score of 11. Do you get it? Rank 32. Hansiha actually didn't want to make it hard for him, but just wanted to teach him a lesson, but it seems it still didn't matter. He still remained easily provoked as before. Even if you don't like it much, he often picks fights with you, and Hansiha isn't the kind of sick person who enjoys watching others bark like dogs. So you wanted to take advantage of this? Hansiha walked over and gave Chris a hard flick on the head. He didn't understand anything, immediately jumped up. Damn it, why did you hit me? This wasn't part of the agreement. Hansiha tried to see this as revenge for the trouble he had caused. Chris still didn't understand and yelled, If you think I'm going to stand still and take it like a dog, you're wrong. Hansiha helplessly sighed. It's hard to be a good person. Shut up, come to the abandoned clubroom in the basement later. I need you to do something. They both met there. Why did you call me here? That's a matter to consider. You don't really think I'm going to make you act like a dog in front of the whole school, do you? Or is that your preference? Chris still seemed annoyed. Stop messing around, get straight to the point. What do you want me to do? Hansiha lowered his eyes and asked seriously, Do you know who my father is? Chris was startled, feeling guilty. Of course I know the founder of the Adel Empire, the Blood Count who wiped out dark wizards during the Dark Magic War. Hansiha suddenly quieted down, no longer arrogant. Why is Hansiha asking me this? Is he trying to threaten a commoner with his noble status? Hansiha simply wanted to ask because he also didn't know who his father was in this story. After mentioning that father's identity, he had some understanding confirming that he was now a silver-spooned person with a mansion in the Castiga estate. Hansiha got straight to the point. Now I'm starting to negotiate. I remember you have quite an extensive information network, right? Spread a few rumors. Then Hansiha whispered something into Chris's ear, not understanding what he mentioned that made Chris go from one shock to another. What? You are lingering around telling the other students to do it as quickly as possible. Not just telling the second years, but the entire academy. You spread it as fast as you can, got it? I'm off. At this moment, Chris thought Hansiha must be crazy at a grand mansion. Information about Hansiha reached Count Hantesu, his father. My lord, there is new information about the young master from the Adel Academy. What's the situation? My poor youngest son things don't seem to be going well. Although you, my lord, generously paid for tuition and living expenses, you have cut off all support, leaving him unable to even use his own money and going hungry. His father remained indifferent, but he is still not poor. Such hardship is necessary for him to regain his senses. If he dares to speak blasphemously about dark magic in front of me again, I will not hesitate to end him, even if he is my son. The steward hesitated. It seemed he had changed. He achieved surprisingly good scores in the advancement exam. I hope he isn't at the bottom of the list, right? No, actually he ranked 11th. At this point the father was so shocked that he dropped his pen. The butler added that his recent reputation has also changed. According to rumors circulating in Adel, the young master is seen as compassionate, straightforward as a pine tree, and very handsome. Hantesu looked dumbfounded, as if he had heard the story of Jack changing from 5 million to Jack 10 million. This is ridiculous. Is he threatening someone to spread these strange rumors? The butler insisted, I can assure you one thing, our young master is truly changing. In Hantesu's memory, Hansiha was a kid who played with dark magic to the point that he could hardly accept it. Hantesu had been strict to make his son snap back to reality. If he's really changing, then that's good. After all, he is the only heir to the Castiga territory. Suddenly Hantesu was much more excited, standing up. If he is assigned to the magic department during the promotion ceremony, next tell him that he will receive financial support in another aspect. Hansiha was excitedly fiddling with the ATM. This ATM is made from magical stone. It's amazing. After seeing the results of the test, I heard they would provide part of the previously cut subsidy, so I opened it to check. With this amount of money, I can live comfortably for the whole semester without worrying. Count Hantesu is a very honorable person. It seems that persuading Crick to spread beneficial rumors contributed to achieving this result. I am truly a genius among geniuses. Seeing Hansiha bouncing and jumping, Earl felt very confused. Han-si-ha, what are you doing there? Hurry to the auditorium, the promotion ceremony is about to start. At the Adele Academy, when becoming a second-year student, Han-si-ha will be assigned to a department suitable for his abilities. The magic department teaches many skills and also provides practical opportunities. This is a department that combines magic with experimental research and academic elements of natural sciences. This is a department that combines magic with spiritual abilities such as prophecy and divination. The theology department is the only place where one can legally learn dark magic in the Adel Empire and specialize in combat magic. Finally, the moment has come to welcome the second-year students. Now we will proceed with the promotion ceremony. The students called up will step to the podium and place their hand on the magic dice. The one speaking is the department head, Eris. The magic dice is a magical tool used to detect innate talents and find the corresponding field. In the original novel, Han-si-ha was chosen for the soul summoning department, desiring to use dark magic to trample those who had looked down on him for satisfaction, but in the end he failed miserably. Han-si-ha was very curious whether the dice would choose like that again this time. Everything had been adjusted to match his abilities, but it was still uncertain whether what he had done in the past few days could change everything in one fell swoop. Nevertheless, he would not allow himself to have a fate like that in the novel. The head of this test, Li Han, was aiming for the Department of Magic. As expected, he stood at the top, drawing admiration from everyone. Everyone looked at him with eyes full of admiration. Han-si-ha recognized at a glance that this guy was the main character of the academy. Looking at that surreal appearance, it was indeed the aura of a main character. The young man suddenly felt insecure, thinking life was really unfair. He was wishing he could also traverse time and become a main character instead of a guy like Han-si-ha, who always had to live on the brink of death. Sure enough, as per the previous developments after rolling the dice, Li Han was assigned to the Department of Magic. He seemed to have anticipated that outcome. Next up is Zolia Akenet Lentoth. She is a light mage, a genius among geniuses in the original novel and also the closest ally of the male protagonist. Her result would also be assigned to the Department of Magic. This was too obvious. The others continued to line up in order. Simon Parker was assigned to the Soul Summoning Department. Jun-hee An was assigned to the Theology Department. Han-si-ha smiled slightly but felt anxious inside. From the main characters to the supporting characters, just as I thought, the familiar names were often called first. While still lost in thought, the name Han-si-ha was called out. Han-si-ha, please come to the stage. The young man stepped forward cautiously. 3 years from now, the soul summoners from the Soul Summoning Department will unite and rise to take over the Adel Academy, but they will all be defeated by the protagonist's group. Right now, Han-si-ha is praying, please don't be from the Soul Summoning Department. The moment Han-si-ha stepped up, all the students buzzed. Wow, that must be Han-si-ha, right? I've heard he's changed, but I didn't expect him to be completely different from before. But he must be in the Soul Summoning Department. I've heard he is involved with dark magic. The moment the dice were thrown, Han-si-ha's heart raced. His emotions exploded when the dice turned red. That color means Han-si-ha will be assigned to the magic department. Han-si-ha, with a smug expression, as if celebrating a victory, felt happy, but everyone around kept staring at him, making him very uncomfortable. Half of them were curious looks, wondering why he was assigned to the magic department, and the other half were those who liked dark magic and were wondering why they weren't in the soul summoning department. No one was happy about Han-si-ha's result, but Adele was the exception. Congratulations, Han-si-ha. It looks like we'll be seeing each other again in the magic department. Adele, as expected, was also in the magic department. You seem to really want me in the magic department, huh? Ardell, unbothered, nodded, making Han-si-ha blush. What's wrong? Is there an issue? Why does your face look so rosy? Oh, it's nothing, just not like that. Please give me a heads up next time you come close. Ardell still kept that smile and replied, if I were in the soul summoning department, we would probably fight every day. You'd lose to me, just watch, I owe you a life, so I don't want to fight you. There was someone standing behind, unhappy to see Han-si-ha chatting so comfortably with Adele, and that was none other than Li Han. As soon as he saw Han-si-ha turn his head, he quickly turned 180 degrees to appear friendly. Han-si-ha, nice to meet you. Looks like we both got assigned to the magic department, huh? Standing in front of this strangely friendly demeanor, Han-si-ha was truly puzzled and a bit hesitant, wondering why he was striking up a conversation with him. Li Han approached him and asked, and you're even interested in the Department of Magic? That's quite surprising. I hope we can collaborate. Before this handshake, Han-si-ha was genuinely awkward. Seeing that Han-si-ha seemed tense, Li Han asked if he was okay. I heard you were locked up in the dungeon right before the practical exam. I find that interesting. Even if Adele was there, surviving in the dungeon would still be very difficult for a normal student. I'm curious what kind of magic you used. At this moment, the gaze between the two was not very peaceful. Hansiha was also quite surprised by the name Li Han. The professors decided to keep the incident under wraps. How did he find out? Li Han is so cautious that it's hard to know what he is thinking. He is sharp and has the straightforward personality typical of protagonists in web novels. In other words, he believes that all evil must be eradicated. Could it be that Li Han thinks of himself as a dark wizard that needs to be eliminated? What will come, just let it pass. Hansiha walked to this dormitory, which is designated for students of the Department of Magic. The young man felt overwhelmed. How is this place any different from a 5-star hotel? He fiddled around looking for his room. Here it is, room 203. As soon as he opened the door, there was already someone inside, and this friend shouted, "Oh my God, are you Hansi?" "Yes, that's my name, but so what?" "So what, because I get to be roommates with the superstar of the promotion ceremony. The second-year student who made Chris cry and even brought tears to the royal family. You are that person, right?" Hansia felt shy hearing these words used for himself. After the promotion ceremony, Fabian Zen Edwin started to become aggressive, questioning why a prince like him was in the Department of Spirit Summoning while he got into the Department of Magic. So I scared him a little. Remembering the current moment, Hansiha leaned in and said, "Hey, I know this is very interesting. You keep whining about being a prince and making everyone obey, but in reality you don't have royal blood, do you?" Fabian Zen Edwin flinched, shocked and speechless. How do you know that? If he felt embarrassed about having his secret exposed, he better keep his mouth shut. At that moment, Fabian Zen Edwin had to comprehend that my inability to enter the Department of Magic was due to my issues and my unworthiness. Hansiha was very annoyed to see him shedding such unpleasant crocodile tears. At that time, the classmates around commented continuously, "Look, Hansiha made a prince cry just with a remark." I don't know what he said, but it must have been a bitter comment. At that moment, Hansiha had sprayed adhesive. His plan was to be a model student graduate smoothly, but now he was being misunderstood by everyone again. Returning to the present, the roommate introduced himself as Gun assigned to the Department of Magic. "Nice to meet you. You're not as famous as you think. I bet you've never heard my name." Hansiha said nothing, but thought he was mistaken. "Coincidentally, I know that name. You are the most reliable ally of the main character Li Han, gentle but with sharp judgment and very adaptable. Most importantly, you are an information provider with a vast network of connections." Seeing Hansiha silent, one awkwardly asked, "Why do you look so stiff, like you've been sprayed with glue?" Hansiha was still in shock. At this rate, everyone around him were all main characters who would end Hansiha in the original novel. To reassure himself, the young man sighed and said it was nothing. One still kept the flame of enthusiasm. "If you've finished unpacking, do you want to tour the dorm with me? I have a guide map, but exploring together would be much more fun, right? Just consider this bonding time with your roommate." Hansiha had no choice but to agree. After all, getting to know this place costs nothing. As they walked, one introduced, "This is the cafeteria, but the seniors say eating out is better than dining here. Clearly, the nutritionists here like to experiment. No one knows what they will be served. Moreover, tonight's menu is burnt pig's front leg salad." Hansiha innocently asked, "Is that even acceptable? After all, it's meant for students to eat." The two moved to the outdoor magic training ground. "You can freely practice magic here, but if you're careless and walk by, you might get hit and have to go to the infirmary. It seems that at least one person has to end up in the infirmary every term." Hansiha replied somewhat irresponsibly, "Then why don't they set up a barrier?" "Oh, that's a good point. So the rumor about you becoming smarter is true." Hansiha was again caught off guard, not knowing how to respond. Although one often threw out some nonsense, I could still gather some useful information from him. He is quite useful. After a round of touring, both returned to the room as it was about to rain and getting dark. Hansiha felt a bit uneasy. That feeling was not ordinary storm clouds. One also felt anxious. Suddenly it rained. "I feel like something is off. We have to brave the rain and report to the professor right away." Hansiha pulled one back, saying it was very dangerous. He actually remembered this scene along with the eerie atmosphere. Even the grass was soaked and stained by the black rain. Clearly this is not ordinary rain. It is a rain mixed with deadly poison. A girl ran out shouting for everyone to rush inside and take shelter in the building. Hansiha had seen more horrifying things than this. The real issue is not this. This is just a distraction plan. Behind that, there is a real danger. Suddenly, an angry person ran over to report that a student is missing. That is Adele from the School of Magic and Solia Arcanon. They have disappeared without a trace. Here it is, the second main chapter. The kidnapping incident at the dormitory has begun. Hansiha has received a task from the system: find the missing student. Outside, the rain shows no signs of stopping. The two kidnapped girls are trying their best to wriggle free from the ropes, but it's in vain. Damn it, I can't get it off. Solia sighed. Don't waste too much energy. This branch seems like it won't let go easily. Earl angrily exclaimed, of all things, why didn't you say it earlier? Solia remained calm. I tried to find a weak point. Earl, with a puzzled expression, wondered why that person in the black cloak had locked her in the giant tree and left. Adele had never offended anyone to the point where they wanted to silence her, and she wasn't worth being a target for any reason. Definitely not like Solia over there. Adele is just a civilian without a powerful background or anyone backing her. No matter how hard she thought, she couldn't figure out why she was the chosen one. But this moment reminded Adele of when she was trapped in the dungeon. Suddenly the image of Hansiha appeared in her mind, wondering what Hansiha would say at this moment. She kept thinking and laughing to herself. The girl thought she was going crazy. Why am I thinking about that guy? Why am I thinking about someone who doesn't even recognize this terrible situation and is probably sleeping soundly in the dorm? Adele thought as she struggled harder. Solia felt confused by these strange states. Both looked up at the sky as if the light was fading. Hey, I have a guess. This tree seems afraid of light. The black clouds covering the sky were the last thing we saw when we were kidnapped, a thick artificial cloud obscuring the view. Added to that, the trunk was growing up as if it was piercing the sky. Normally, spaces are designed within artificial clouds to receive sunlight unless there is a special reason not to do so. But not here. Hey, it's a bit surprising to think about why the light is completely blocked by the sun. You also guessed that this tree is afraid of light, right? Impressive indeed. No wonder it's in the top 2 of the whole school. Solia firmly stated that she would fight. Magic has attacked the students, including us, with poisonous rain. It must be dark magic, the type of magic that is most compatible with darkness. That magic is light magic, for example, the skill to purify the earth element that I have. They thought he heard that Solia's earth purification was still at level 2, but in a small space like this, it might be effective. Both made a decision and entrusted Solia with the main responsibility. The prosperity of the earth and the blessings of the earth I command. While Adele was still worried about whether she would succeed, some force appeared and interrupted Solia. The girl was feeling very breathless. The black mist was invading her mind, as if someone was tainting Solia's thoughts. I have a proposal sweeter than death, Solia. I will restore your fallen family. You have endured so much suddenly coming to the academy after losing everything in the blink of an eye. You have stubbornly held on until now. You're close to your limit, aren't you? I have the power to easily restore your family. Isn't this an enticing offer? After hearing these words, Solia was so moved that she froze in her mind. My family outside Adele was continuously shouting to awaken Solia. Are you crazy? Wake up! Why are you doing this to Solia, you bastard? Do you think I'm easy to deal with? All right, I will make you an offer. At this moment, Adele had a plan. If the focus shifted to her, Solia might regain her composure. What was happening was probably mental magic eroding the opponent's desires. This means that if one can hold firm with willpower, it is entirely possible to overcome it. That force continued to play tricks. Let's see, what are your desires? Adele shouted. Stop it, you piece of garbage. I'm not interested in hearing proposals from a rotten piece of bark. Adele continued to silently pray for Solia to wake up. If she could buy a little more time, the magic casting would be even more perfect. Adele continued to provoke. By the way, your true body must exist somewhere. Are you planning to hide and talk to me like this? Stop hiding in that tree trunk and come out to talk. Who knows, maybe you're just trying to scare me. Right after that, a burst of magic shot straight at Adele. Sukana, you can't avoid it. Now all I can do is pray, please someone come help me. But immediately after, a strong beam of light shot through. That was exactly light magic. Why is Solia, who is supposed to be here, not yet free from brainwashing? So who is it? One was rushing to lift Solia up. Are you okay? The appearance of Hansiha truly surprised Adele. Supporting himself, the young man arrogantly thanked for the suggestion. It's weak against light. The effect is quite obvious. Hansiha, how did you find this place? What was that strong light just now? At this time, Hansiha still had time to tease someone who was about to die. You're still talking too much. As for the magic light, that light is called a basic type of magic. I just used the magical magnifying glass from my bag to amplify it. How are you doing? Are you okay? Adele was still hesitant, stammering. Yes, of course. Who do you think I am? I'm not just okay, I'm extremely fine. Hansiha begins to draw his sword. Well then, let's move forward and fight. What Hansiha just handed to Adele is the training sword she used before. I think you really enjoy fighting now, so let's switch to the right attributes. Adele's face is contorted, not understanding what she expected from this jerk. Alright then, if the opponent is a dark wizard, there's even less reason to hold back. After Adele delivers a decisive slash, the wizard is injured and reveals his true form. He growls in anger towards Hansiha. What are you looking at? Am I that scary? Should I gouge out the other eye too? The dark wizard yells in anger. I will wipe you all out, you filthy rats. He seemed ready to charge in for an attack, but instead he blocked the escape route. He is firmly grasping the terrain to his advantage. The dark wizard gritted his teeth. Now that I have returned to full power, it's your turn, you stupid bastards. Immediately after, he used magic to invade Hansiha's mind, a useless coward abandoned by his own family, a failed student who couldn't graduate. Don't look back, you're more suited for dark magic. Hansiha maintains some clarity, distinguishing the whispers in his mind. Finally, he understands what mind control magic feels like. It really makes others feel uncomfortable. There has been an interruption that caused the dark wizard to look dumbfounded. What's going on, Hansiha? Calm down and brush off your clothes. It seems you're trying to provoke by absorbing the memories of the foolish Hansiha in the novel. Unfortunately, those words have no effect on me now. The dark wizard jumped up angrily. Why isn't the mind control magic working? All the conditions have been met. Hansiha seizes the opportunity to mock. It's because you're weak and I'm stronger, isn't that right? He was so furious that he could only curse, you damn scoundrel. And the dark wizard has merged with the tree. And if Hansiha's memories are accurate, the original form of this bizarrely large tree is the ancient lattice tree. It is a hybrid created by dark wizards who enhanced the plant species, giving it a very high compatibility with the mind control magic of dark wizards, amplifying its psychic power. The solution is very simple. Psychological monsters often rely too much on their abilities, so they usually have poor resistance. Hansiha turned to Adele and asked, Adele, this tree is weak against light, right? And the girl, still enthusiastically fighting, replied, That's right, why? Do you know that trees are often weak against the fire element too? Immediately after he put Basin to work. Go ahead. Basin looked at the bewildered expression of the dark wizard. It seemed he had been completely cornered. No, how dare you? After taking a powerful flame burst, Hansiha is also thrown away by his magic, crashing hard into the tree. Looking down, Basin saw it crying. Fortunately, just earlier, he had held it in the palm of his hand, which reduced the impact. Now is not the time to be distracted. Too fast, too dangerous? Since when did the branches get so close to Hansiha? While the young man was confused and hadn't thought of a way to respond, Adele took the bullet for him. You should proudly turn around, this time you owe me. The young man's face turned pale, thinking he was done for. Adeo Kinding continued, Hey Hansiha, I'm doing my best to eliminate these trunks, and you did very well along with Basin. But to completely take them down, a decisive strike is necessary. It seems that Solia has regained her senses, but we are still just trainees who haven't graduated, and the opponent is a powerful dark mage. This is a crazy situation that we can't win. But if it's you, I think you'll be able to handle this mess. Am I wrong? Not good. The two gazes met. Hansiha smiled. Right after that, dark clouds rolled in and it poured rain. Thank you for earlier. The girl suddenly appeared shy. No, I should be the one who is grateful to you for suggesting using the rain to put out the fire inside and reduce the risk of fire. Additionally, enhancing basic thunder magic with the humid environment. Even so, if you hadn't cast the light magic on me, I would have been fried by the current. While Solia was shy, Hansiha made an assessment to speculate and deploy destructive magic. Thus, in a short time, it seemed she had also learned all about casting light magic. At that moment, Hansiha's quality shone brightly, and Solia looked at him with completely different eyes. The young man turned to ask Adele, By the way, do you know why the dark mage kidnapped the two of you? Based on what we've discussed, it seems they intend to brainwash us and use us as pawns. Hansiha sighed. It turned out that the plan was to kidnap the top two students of the academy, Adele, and brainwash them into their pawns. Truly an impressive scheme, and if they are capable of brainwashing Solaya, you know you won't be able to take him down with just basic magic. Basin was snug in Hansiha's hand, still crying. Now I have to soothe the dragon's chest. I'm perfectly fine. Why are you overreacting when I'm the one who has to bear the burden of protecting you? Guan teased, just to make it clear, you're an S-rank student in taming beasts, but sometimes you don't know anything about genuine pet feelings. Oh, Del, adding more spice with a face that was nothing but playful. Hey, Basin was just worried about you, right? In this moment, Hansiha suddenly felt an unusual happiness. This feeling is like achieving something together. I'm experiencing a feeling I've never felt in my previous life. All the happiness is here. One eagerly wanted to be praised. Me too, what about compliments for me? I also contributed to that tree getting damaged. After feeling delighted for a while, the young man was taken by Gun to explore and observe the surroundings. Although his feet were covered in muddy filthy sludge towards Adele and Solia, they decided to rest and recover inside the tree. Although the toxins had vanished with the death of the monster tree, the truth is that the wild swamps are not places where humans can comfortably pass through. However, the reason he decided to come all the way here was to search for a hidden place inside the Soul Academy, a concealed door. Hansiha lightly touched it, and it slowly opened. Normally this is a hidden achievement, and a treasure found by the protagonist who came and rescued Solia struggling with the power of light. But right now Hansiha is one step ahead of the novel. Just seeing the bright treasure, Hansiha and Won were completely overwhelmed. Now is all of this mine, I can do anything I want with it. Even a pathetic villain has to make a living. Never knowing when he would have pocket money again, Won was still happily speechless. Wow, is this real? Does it have an owner? Is there a master of this treasure? Hansiha firmly stated, even if there is, they have long been dead. The statue at the entrance is an artifact from 300 years ago. One with bright eyes just wanted to jump up. Oh really, what a huge discovery. But how do you know all this? Speaking of which, Hansiha sprayed the glue. Well, that's what I learned in general history. The tribes that worship Severus around here erected the statue. Don't you remember? Won looked confused, not understanding anything, but at this point didn't care about everything. Looking down, Bashin seemed just as interested as the humans. It even hugged the gold very passionately. Bashin, do you have a fondness for money? It was hugging a hard gold bar, and Hansiha suddenly realized it seemed to be hugging the gold bar just because it thought it looked like cheese. Hansiha snapped his fingers. Thou, I was going to tell Won that I'm in a good mood today, take as much as you want. Then he reached up to grab the small bone placed above and opened it. In the lonely world where survival is more important than material, to survive properly requires strength. This bone is something Hansiha obtained from the original novel after defeating the Dark Wizard. One was curious, perplexed. What is this torn thing? It looks like an open spell book. The content of the book seems to talk about basic dark magic. One was curious and puzzled. What is this torn thing down here? It looks like an open spell book. It seemed the book's content was about basics. One exclaimed in shock. Hansiha, put it down. Anyone who touches that book is easily cursed. Seeing Hansiha still silently holding it, One thought Hansiha couldn't resist the temptation of dark magic. There's something strange inside the book. Not a single word was written until it floated up and began to glow. The system synchronized with the basic magic spellbook. Now read the title of the... What is it, a basic magic spellbook? That's right, it seems to be a spellbook that changes based on the user's wishes. If it contains all kinds of basic magic, then it must be very valuable. Hansiha felt like he had won the jackpot. A high-level spellbook suggests necessary spells based on the user's preferences and allows one to learn all the spells contained within immediately, just like a scroll. In other words, this is an opportunity to acquire the basic spells that the students of the Adele Academy have struggled to learn all year in just one go. Hansiha looked at the book while smiling blankly. One stood there watching the scene and thought something was wrong with Hansiha. Shouldn't we leave now? Wait, let me get another bracelet, Thrishin. Let's go upstairs gradually. Those two girls must be really bored. Suddenly there were sounds from a stranger, seemingly only Hansiha could hear. He froze when he saw the book glow again. It seems the choice from the stranger is not a coincidence. The strange voice continued to echo in his ears. To the stranger who has crossed the world, all your actions will change this world. Hansiha could not believe that changing the world was real. That's right, I shouldn't have been here at first. I should have been someone who couldn't survive. If this book can see through all truths and words, then this is the book called Chi Common Carmen, a powerful prophetic book. No matter how much he denied it, what the book said would happen, which also meant he should limit interference in everything that would naturally occur. Hansiha would have to separate from the stories. But attending the academy and living well is also considered a greed and a desire of his, while he was subconsciously thinking about everything. That strange sound continued, but if you are given that role, then take it to understand everything about this world. If you do nothing, then this world will also be destroyed. Right after that, a strange energy appeared in Hansiha's body. It seems this is the price to pay for listening to the prophecy. One was very shocked when he suddenly saw Hansiha collapse and faint. Right now the young man is settling down in the dormitory. One still felt very restless and worried. Hansiha sighed, equally helpless. I'm really sorry, man. If you confirm I'm okay, can you give me a little privacy? At this moment one left. All right, you rest. I'll go to the convenience store to buy some stuff. Although he forced a smile, Hansiha's mind was in complete chaos. Everything in his head was a mess. The actions he had taken inadvertently created a butterfly effect. The dark mages can win, and perhaps that day will come soon. The end of the Adel Empire may collapse. In a world that has been destroyed, you won't be able to survive either. No matter what, it's really terrible. Hansiha had planned to live quietly from now until the end of the story, but if his fate is to mess everything up, then he has already experienced enough in his past life. If you keep getting involved in things, you shouldn't. Eventually you'll be surrounded by enemies and fall into despair. Hansiha never wanted to live a life like that again, feeling like in the end he would have to face death. But if the world collapses because of you like an event, then you can't ignore the unpleasant feelings inside. The young man decided to get up immediately. Why was he sitting here seriously thinking about these things? Anyway, if such a situation arises, I will have to face it directly. That's right, I am the only one who knows how the Soul Academy will end. A person who is reborn is also a witness. I am Hansiha, but not Hansiha, I am simply myself. Once it is revealed that the one behind the kidnapping is a dark mage, the Academy will want to keep this a secret from outsiders. After daringly rescuing Solia and Adele won, and I had to face the consequences of sneaking out of the Academy without permission. At the same time, I was praised for saving my friends, so there's more work to do. It would be great if they paid me too. Moreover, the first task of the practical class is a group project one day after being released, and I have to participate in the group project already. Really? So what exactly is the group project? Like a bus driver and a fare evader, I am not suited for doing group projects. Among the troublemakers and pests there is always a prank. They will deny responsibility and no one wants to get involved in it. That is the real experience when encountering countless types of people. Right now the young man is laughing absurdly, thinking about a dead-end future. Compared to hunting monsters, teamwork is much worse. Teamwork during practice is a very important part at the Soul Academy. The task is to bring back items representing each dungeon. Exploring higher difficulty dungeons will earn more points, but there is also a very high chance of getting 0 points due to time constraints. The professor reminded very thoroughly, hoping everyone will work well together in teams. Furthermore, the grouping will depend on you. Please form groups within 10 minutes. Some young people were stunned by this request from the teacher, while Hansiha was still yawning. This is getting complicated. I wonder if anyone will come to team up with me. Just finishing yawning, someone came up and tapped on my shoulder. Even more shocking was that person Li Han. Hansiha, ooh, do you want to team up with me? While Hansiha was still in shock, the other members of the class were also surprised. Why did Li Han come to invite him? Could it be because Hansiha has very good grades in the Taming class? Hansiha asked again to make sure. So you want to work in a group with me? But my answer is no, it's too tiring. Please find someone else. Li Han sprayed adhesive all over. What a pity, how could you refuse so decisively? Oh, wearing it makes me laugh. That's right, Hansiha. I didn't expect you to be so cold. It seemed that the 4 familiar people were reunited in a group. Forget about blocking the way we came because we want to team up with you, so don't refuse. I still really can't believe it, even being invited to team up with the genius Li Han, you flat out refused like that. Hansiha stared at the paper side repeatedly, not knowing how to explain, but it was very troublesome. Working with you guys is more fun because I'm already used to it. Though he spoke sweetly, he felt relaxed in his heart. The gorilla thing is just because I'm afraid of what might happen if it involves the main character. Hansiha continued to smile brightly, pretending to be excited in a fake manner. Oh, thinking back, everyone is wearing uniforms, right? In fact, the young man was just trying to change the subject. The naive soldiers don't know anything and jump up. That's right, since the second year the robes and ties have changed. Based on the department, the red magic department, the blue theology department, the green natural science department, and the purple soul calling department. It seems that the diversion was a complete success. The 2 girls were thrilled. Oh, really? Since we're all the same color, it feels like we're a close-knit team, right? Hansiha thought whether a main character or a top student, kids are still kids. Seeing them easily laugh and be happy over something so trivial also made Hansiha feel better. All right, let's stop chatting. Let's choose a dungeon to fight. A B-level dungeon, how about the Phantom Forest? Surely everyone wants high scores, right? Or an A-level dungeon like the Witch's Cave, that would be good too. But listen, everyone knows that whether we can conquer a dungeon or not will depend on the items we have, right? I've heard that the Phantom Forest dungeon has an S-level item. Hearing about the S-level item, both girls were stunned. That's amazing. With that we can defeat all the other groups. The side reward might also be something Professor Green wants. Hansiha, how do you always know information that we don't? The young man could only awkwardly scratch his head. It must be the power of studying. Everything seems to be going very smoothly. One will be a reasonable companion. Of course, this hidden reward was actually found by Lihan in his third year at the Seoul Academy. But to truly blend into this world instead of just being an outsider, one must at least prepare thoroughly. Han-siha called everyone to prepare and then scheduled to meet in 2 days. On another note, the theology department has updated information regarding Han-siha's group. I just found out that they chose Dungeon B, the Ghost Forest. Alright then, we should prepare in advance, right? Finally, the day to enter the dungeon has come. While most dungeons are located outside the academy, the Ghostly Forest is a dungeon that can only be accessed through the academy's library. Before Adele even started, Han-siha already seemed dangerous and intimidating. There are rumors that early in the morning ghosts escaping from the dungeon wander around the library due to the weakening of the seal. Adele was a bit scared, but still had to reassure himself. Who could he fool? Ghosts aren't real. Just as he finished speaking, a young man standing in the library suddenly spoke up, startling Adele. Actually, there are. I'm just an ordinary person. Solia reassured Adele to stay calm while Han-siha directly asked him who he was based on his tie color. It seems you don't belong to the magic department. Why are you here? After a few seconds of hesitation, this person introduced himself. I am a first-year student, user Baton. I came to join you in entering the dungeon. Upon hearing this name, Han-siha felt both familiar and strange. It is said that there is a very talented young first-year student in the field of magic who is favored as a protector of the top second-year students in the theology department. User Baton expressed sincerely, I won't cause any trouble so I can follow along, right? If someone like User Baton wants to join the dungeon exploration of the magic class, there must be some issue. Han-siha smiled lightly. User Baton, did you see something, didn't you? Right after this unpredictable question, User Baton jumped in surprise. It must be true then. So you want to follow for your own reasons, right? Suddenly a girl appeared out of nowhere and interrupted. Oh my, don't doubt others like that. If you plan to enter the ghostly forest in this messy library, then User Baton will be very useful since he can see ghosts. Still feeling scared, this girl made Adele even more frightened. Oh, did I scare you? I'm sorry, I'm Junhyun, a second-year student in the theology department. I am the protector of User Baton, just as you said. Recently, during the Holy Magic training, User Baton saw something, and then he insisted on following you. That was the first time I saw him react so strongly, quite different from his usual quiet personality. I was given permission by the professor to accompany User Baton as long as I act as his protector. Han-siha frowned in discomfort. I don't really care about that. But are you sure you're not hiding any schemes? It's like a snake from another group is coming to assassinate us. Junhyun laughed foolishly and assured, haha, don't worry. I agreed to be the protector for User Baton for one reason only, and that is you. Han-siha, while the young man was still bewildered, not understanding what he had to do with this, Junhyun winked. You are totally my type. The young man with the spray kept expressing the moment he registered for the magic department. Our eyes met. I developed feelings for those open eyes, slightly messy brown hair, and a lopsided smile. When you smile, you are handsome, just my type. I always welcome the opportunity to admire a handsome guy up close. Han-siha's face turned pale, sweating. One thought Han-siha was so happy that his soul was ascending. Han-siha, don't you know? Jong-hyun is not only famous in the theology department, but also a collector of handsome guys with an impressive score. Anyway, that dungeon is full of dark-type monsters, so why don't we cooperate with the students of the theology department? Han-siha listened to them chatter in his ear and felt a headache. It feels like these people speak as if it's not their problem. Adele announced that since everyone had agreed, let's go into the dungeon together. The condition to release the seal is to take a book. Right after that, the door and light opened. This is the entrance to the dungeon. Bashin was startled. Han-siha understood him. Bashin only had experience with the slam dungeon, so he must be shocked to see this scene. Anyway, we still have to bring him along. Although the beginning is a bit awkward, every trip is a learning experience. As soon as they entered, it was a battle with dust and smoke. Adele moved forward understanding. Han-siha watched them fight and thought that Professor Green emphasized the importance of teamwork for a reason. There is only one special item at the entrance of the dungeon. Without it, Han-siha would completely be unable to see the ghost-type monsters in the dungeon. If the members are not cooperative or too focused on personal scores, they will end up fighting each other before even encountering the monsters. After a while of observation, Han-siha also chose the person to use the blindfold. Earl and Gun are very agile, so they will take on reconnaissance. Solia will confront the dark-type monsters, while Bashin will be responsible for fire magic, taking on the main damage role. To quickly deal with the small monsters, just thinking about it, the young man was very pleased. It is indeed a perfect plan. Junhyun stood with his arms crossed, continuously exclaiming, impressive. They can handle everything without us, the theology students, getting involved. Hansiha was most impressed, although he did not study theology nor possess any special items. How could he easily know the movements of those ghosts? As if to blindfold a warrior before going to the battlefield. So it seems my assessment that day was not wrong. The outsider of the Department of Magic who will save the world is Hansiha. User button reminded Hansiha from behind, Brother Hansiha Sr., there's a large source of energy coming from the right. The magical power along with its weight enveloped the surroundings. What is this chill? The pressure is different from facing monsters. Could it be that the boss monster has appeared? The characteristic of the boss in the Yulin forest is a scythe that can read the memories of its opponents. So Solia and I will confront it head-on. Although unintentional, Hansiha had experienced a similar attack before. It seems this is truly the boss. Its attack speed is terrifying. Even though it's confusing and frightening, Hansiha reminds himself to stay calm. It's not a physical attack, so there's no need to panic. Now if he ignores the voice in his head and tries to stay alert, he will be able to win. Suddenly Hansiha sinks into nothingness. Everything is pure white. Where is this a strange feeling so distant that all his senses seem to be paralyzed, an endless void where nothing exists? And then this is a mental attack like the ultimate technique of a high-level demon. What the heck is happening? Suddenly familiar sounds ring out, startling Hansiha. It's recreating his real memories. After a long time, they remain unchanged. The repetitive flow in that bastard's brain is stealthily stabbing his superior. Don't mess with him, he's a real crazy person in the intern world. Kids these days really don't know what fear is. Hansiha recalls what happened in his past life. I was watching them discuss from behind. I never regretted it. I was simply doing what needed to be done. The person I reported was a lunatic involved in drug abuse experiments that caused many victims to lose their lives. I reported his brutality to professors, undergraduate students, and the medical school, regardless of his many connections, and that he was my senior. What happened afterward was quite predictable. Nowadays the world is really small, so every time I go to any hospital for my internship, people call me a snitch. Although I was recognized as a genius, what I received was criticism and insults, which destroyed the career of a senior considered a god to them. And so this continued. Before entering the operating room, my hands were trembling uncontrollably, even though I didn't understand what was happening. Even when I tried to stop them, they kept shaking. This was so ridiculous that news spread that a veterinarian needed to undergo surgery was trembling. They wouldn't let me into the operating room anymore. It seems that repressed emotions caused my hand tremors. As I entered the operating room, I thought that was why I felt powerless and collapsed. Why am I like this? With that mindset, I was allowed to intern trembling and wanting to participate in surgery. A bastard with trembling hands. You're a top student, but it seems you're not very talented. All those harsh words were directed at me, enduring the whispers, the glances, and every day it destroyed my mind to the core. I left my familiar hospital. The label of weakness and incompetence truly stuck to my name at the moment I sank into nothingness. Hansiha realized he thought that if time passed, everything would be better. But perhaps he was still such a person in this negative moment. Where did Basin rush straight into Basin? We are in the middle of the empty space created by the illusion magic of the boss. How could he infiltrate someone else's inner world? It jumped straight into Hansiha's lap, continuously rubbing against his shirt. Suddenly Hansiha understood. Taming is a magic that can connect a wizard's heart with a monster. I can feel that he has negative emotions and anxiety just like me. What kind of dragon is this to be so affectionate? You're more like a dog now. Basin, the reason I made that decision is not simply because I hate the senior, but it is the rebellion of youth. I cannot go against my narrow conscience about saving the injured animals. After a while of petting, he decided to take Basin away from here. Thanks to it, he completely awakened. Hansiha no longer wanted to be a loser. As he looked straight ahead, Hansiha sensed something in front of him. Is it a hidden item? Since this place is inside the monster, things not visible outside can be seen here. Based on his memory, it is a hidden item, a ghost lantern, and also the core of this monster, its heart. If we take this away, we can defeat it immediately. Hansiha asked Basin to lend him strength. The young man ordered the baby dragon to breathe fire, activating 3 arrows. The monster's heart was burned, leaving only a lantern. Everything seemed to have ended. Hansiha felt very satisfied. This outcome is well deserved for such scumbags. As he returned to reality, his friends came over to applaud and congratulate Hansiha. Finally, you did it. Solia escaped a while ago, but you were inside the monster for too long. We were a bit worried. Did you really defeat the boss? Hansiha lightly flexed to show them his prowess. Honestly, no exaggeration at all. Above all is the recognition from the system you have conquered the B-rank dungeon in the haunted forest. Solia seemed a bit confused, unable to believe that a hidden item existed. One, even though seeing it with his own eyes, still had some doubts. He even thought Hansiha was lying because the chance of finding an item in a dungeon is extremely low. So Leah focuses on analyzing. Isn't there something wrong with this? We all thought we could escape the illusion of the boss, but it is not easy at all. You saw it too, Hansiha. That is the undefined void. One is confused. An undefined void. A high-level illusion magic inside a B-rank dungeon. Indeed, there are many unusual things. This hidden item is hundreds, even thousands of times heavier than normal. Hansiha realizes that it seems this is not just his own intuition. Speaking of which, he is still confused about where Junhyun and user Baton have run off to. One is shocked to see a group of strangers capturing Hyun and the user. They grumble, warning Hansiha, "If these stubborn students weren't so determined to protect you, I would have taken them down silently, but they are really bothering me. You were quite close with these kids back in your first year, right? Even now, while you are laughing and playing with these kids, we all know that is not your true self. So give us a chance to uncover your true nature. Hand over the people behind you to me and join us." Hansiha looked at him as if he were crazy. "What the hell are you talking about? It turns out you all calculated to get to this point, huh?" Still the same enticing words. "If you join the project, it will be a success. The preparations are almost complete, just need to meet the conditions and it's done." Hansiha doesn't like to beat around the bush and asks directly, "It seems you are planning to do something right. Actually, we need your help. To put it simply, we need your assistance. Since you suddenly jumped over to the team of those kids using magic, we are extremely short on manpower right now." Hansiha calmly asks back, "Your original goal was to summon demons, right?" Hearing this, Earl was stunned. "Summoning demons? Are you really planning to prepare such dark magic on campus? Are those guys from the Soul Summoning Department serious?" Thinking back, he had been with Simon Parker, and those guys were with him since the first year. "Could it be that you are still in contact with the Soul Summoners even after being assigned to the Magic Department? The Dark Magician you threw from the Baobab tree, could it be a plan to make us lower our guard?" "Please, Hansiha, say that is not true." Not knowing Hansiha's intentions, he replied, "Summoning demons, the conditions for execution are quite strict, but it's not impossible. Maybe I can help." "I knew it, you finally joined our side. I knew I could trust you." Hansiha immediately demanded the materials. "I need pig's blood, pixie scales, ghost root, and a suitable medium." "Oh, we have already prepared everything, now I'm here to collect the offering." Adele was really shocked and didn't want to believe this was true. "What is this? Why is everything going so smoothly? What is this about? What is the medium you are talking about?" Simon Parker acted all high and mighty, probably because you don't know anything about basic magic. "The important thing for summoning a demon is a strong person who can serve as the vessel for the demon. Do you think I came here to play or to enhance the boss's power in the dungeon? To summon the best sacrifice is a powerful mage, and it's even better if that sacrifice has holy blood." Hansiha is also smiling and talking as if it's real, "So my team is perfect. For the position of the intermediary you chose wisely, huh?" "That's right, hehe. Hansiha, you are really easy to talk to. Now let's do this together." The moment Simon Parker reached out to Hansiha, he showed him what the power of electricity is. The mage was extremely panicked. "What the hell are you doing?" Hansiha pointed directly at him and asked once again with a warning attitude, "After this, do you still want to cooperate? I almost got dragged into it. The plan is good, but you overlooked some things. First, you trust me a little too much. Second, you underestimate me." At this moment, the mage became sober enough to realize he had just been tricked badly. You dare to deceive me? You are assigned to the Department of Magic. So are you completely turning your back on us? If it comes to this, I will sacrifice you too." Overly excited, he launched a direct attack. The force of the explosion sent Hansiha flying out. Adele appeared very worried and immediately ran over. "Hansiha, are you okay?" Thank goodness Hansiha clutched his chest, looking straight into Adele's eyes, and thought, "Adele, even though we practiced beforehand, you still ran here. Aren't you afraid of danger? I am truly touched." Although his heart was fluttering, Hansiha still had to force a smile. "Are you worried?" Adele didn't hide her feelings. "Of course I'm very worried. You got caught up in dark magic again. If it's true, I will definitely eliminate you. I'm very glad you're not a traitor." It seemed the story would be very emotional, but unexpectedly felt cold. Hansiha made a grimace, bewildered. "Haha, what a relief. Should I be happy about this?" Looking towards Simon Parker, Earl worried the attack earlier didn't seem to take him down. Indeed, he is a villain. Simon Parker is a character who will develop on par with Li Han in the future, so Hansiha had no choice but to try his best. Hansiha began to think of a way. "Adele, there's something. I want to ask you. You hold off the necromancers attacking me and Solia, okay?" Simon Parker was rapidly targeting me. Adele immediately rushed out to assist. Simon Parker kept attacking Hansiha. The overwhelming power made it seem like Hansiha couldn't resist. Why not? He's already that strong while still growing up. Of course, from the beginning, he wasn't here to fight with a supporting character like me. Simon Parker glared, grinning savagely. What else are you planning to do? Right after that, he stole Hansiha's magic wand, then grabbed his neck and warned, "You better know your place, Hansiha. You know too much about our plan. You're becoming more famous by the day. So wouldn't it be better for us to eliminate you as soon as possible?" Hansiha was about to choke, his face twisted in pallor, realizing that it was hard to resist the original rule. He also knew that Simon Parker was an unbeatable opponent, but maybe a small variable could happen. Just as he thought of this, Basin immediately flew in and breathed fire from behind, catching Simon Parker off guard and burning all his clothes. Once again, Basin saved Hansiha. He almost passed out from lack of breath. Simon Parker struggled and cursed, "Damn dragon, you disgusting thing." After looking at it, Hansiha was very surprised that Basin had reached level 10 and unlocked a new skill. The unlocked skill was Fire Pillar, which summoned a column of fire and lightning, hitting all surrounding targets within a 1-meter radius, except for the user. Hansiha couldn't believe that his pet leveled up in such an ironic situation, but it was very accurate and timely. It must be said that it was a very beautiful attack. For some reason, its attitude was a bit strange, continuously growling as if craving something. Unable to control itself, it unleashed Fire Pillar, burning the forest to the ground. The soldiers were shocked, trying to express their frustration. Fire and lightning in the middle of the forest again. "Hansiha, are you crazy? If Solia didn't quickly create a shield, we would all be roasted by now." Hansiha also couldn't predict feeling completely drained of energy. "This is serious. I didn't expect the spell to drain all my strength like this. Moreover, if I let it rampage, it wouldn't be good at all. If Basin is excited, I can't control its power." Simon Parker staggered closer, seemingly unfazed. "Oh wow, still calling yourself a beast, Tamer, huh? I don't know about the others, but I'm not fooled by that stuff." Hansiha didn't expect that this bastard could withstand that blow. Simon Parker approached while his clothes were still burning. "Right now, even if I have to die, I will beat you to a pulp, you traitorous dogface, your end." Hansiha sweated, thinking his life might end here, when suddenly an apple fell on the villain. Simon Parker was ambushed by his own teammate. Hansiha was shocked, leaning back. What, the person in the cloak must be a soul summoner student. Why is she attacking Simon Parker? Aren't they on the same side? The girl in the cloak shouted, "Oh, thank goodness it's not too late. I'm glad I brought the protective shovel that my grandfather made." "Hansiha, are you okay?" The moment this girl revealed herself, Hansiha couldn't take it and gradually fainted, making the girl very worried. "You, what's wrong? You can't faint." In her daze, Hansiha realized, "Why are you here?" And so after exhausting herself in the dungeon, Hansiha fainted. The situation was quickly resolved. The Black Magic and Soul Summoning Club was temporarily suspended, while Junhyung user and the remaining teammates were given time to heal and rest. As expected, Hansiha's group was completely successful. They became the only group in Professor Green's class to achieve a perfect score. Adele was so excited that she shook Hansiha vigorously. "Do you hear that? Our group is the only one to get a perfect score. I'm so excited I'm going crazy." The teammates were happy, but Hansiha just forced a smile, tears welling up in her heart. The youth didn't intend to stand out so much. Even the school was spreading rumors that there wasn't really a hidden item. Their determination was truly impressive, just as Hansiha had expected. The manly man kicked Lihan and Hansiha reluctantly accepted it, clearly unhappy. Every time she stood out a little, she worried that a tragic ending would occur. After such busy days, Hansiha was now in the underground dungeon of the academy. The youth had come to meet Simon Parker and confront him. "I heard someone was coming to see me, so I came out to take a look, but who do I have in front of me? Isn't it Hansiha?" He tried to reach out, unable to control his emotions. "Did your dog come here to see me cry my eyes out in prison?" Hansiha stepped back and said straightforwardly, "Calm down, Simon Parker. Anyway, you will get out of here eventually, right? Come on, you're a noble, aren't you? Does your dad really just sit still while his son is locked up in prison? Or maybe not. With this situation, perhaps your family will abandon you, that's for sure." Hansiha had deliberately provoked Simon Parker, driving him crazy. "Are you done talking? Why are you here? Get straight to the point." Hansiha, with an arrogant expression, pulled out a letter. "Take it." Simon Parker immediately opened it to read, while Hansiha brushed off and left. "Your father will come to pick you up from here soon because the only son is about to tarnish the family honor. Your family is known for being ruthless and will punish anyone who tarnishes the family's honor. Who knows? That could be your fate." Simon Parker bitterly swallowed his anger, continuously growling and glaring at Hansiha. The more he looked at his expression, the more he felt amused, thinking to himself, After all, you are just a kid. It seems like you are not afraid of getting involved with dark magic, but are afraid of being expelled from the family, right? Hansiha spoke up. Do you really not understand anything? That idiot is a letter saying that the dark magic organization is threatening you. Of course it's fake, but I stamped the dark magic symbol on it so it will look real to him. The story of an unfortunate soul summoner with no choice but to use forbidden demon summoning magic will end, and your family will handle it more easily, right? Simon Parker turns to ask, why did you give this to me? That's not right. Where did you get it from before? Is there anyone else here? Who else in this academy would want to help you? After Hansiha woke up, the principal seriously met with him privately and presented him with an unprecedented award. Unlike before, he said he would grant him anything he wanted. As for the reward, Hansiha's suggestion also surprised others. The principal also expressed, when you wanted to spare the student Simon Parker, I was very surprised. I said I would grant you anything you wanted, but that student is the president of the Dark Magic Society and a key figure in this. It's not a matter that can be solved just by discipline. However, it seems you saw something different in Simon Parker, didn't you? Hansiha seriously presented that Simon Parker is the kind of person who becomes stronger when driven by hatred. If we discipline him by expelling him from the academy, he will harbor resentment and go astray using his talent for wicked purposes. However, if the principal shows leniency and treats him appropriately, the Dark Magic Society will naturally dissolve and Simon Parker's special talent can be directed positively. It sounds very forgiving, but in reality Hansiha is just worried about himself. Underhandedly, he returns to take revenge as a game. The principal seems very proud of Hansiha, and it appears that he has the qualities of a teacher. The girl with braided hair, Natalie, also slammed the table, stood up and expressed agreement. I think so too. Hansiha almost forgot about her presence. In the original work, she is described as a smart and lovely student loved by everyone in the school. Just before Hansiha fainted, she suddenly appeared with a shovel among the students of the spirit summoning department, which shocked him. Hansiha turned to Natalie and asked, so what is your true identity? Oh right, I haven't explained clearly. Actually, I am an observer appointed by the principal to the Dark Magic Society. In other words, I am an undercover spy. It seems that the study of dark magic in the spirit summoning department has been somewhat overlooked. The principal nodded. There is a legal space for studying dark magic, but what's more important is to avoid students making mistakes out of curiosity during the research. Natalie continued to share, this time I really have been left behind. It seems that the plan to summon demons is a secret shared only among a few students around Simon Parker. Only after entering the dungeon did I begin to grasp the situation accurately. To be honest, if it weren't for Hansiha's help, the students in the magic department wouldn't have been able to escape so peacefully. Thank you so much again. Hansiha scratched his head shyly. What you did isn't that great, so being praised makes me feel a bit guilty. What I did was just to save myself. The principal suddenly remembered something. Oh, and Hansiha, I have a proposal. At this point, Hansiha suddenly had an ominous feeling. The International Magic Research Association wants you to represent the Aiden Academy. What do you think about that? Hansiha was flustered, he knew it, and had already anticipated everything. The young man immediately declined. I can't believe I was chosen to represent the academy principal. For issues like this, shouldn't we send students with high achievements to make it more reasonable? Hansiha said that so he wouldn't have to get involved in any more trouble, avoiding it whenever possible. The principal thought differently. Haha, but did you know you have contributed a lot in the magic practice class recently? Professor Green has awarded you extra points, so you are currently ranked 3rd in the magic department. Hansiha was in a panic. There was no escaping this. The first rank is considered to be Lihan, the second is Adele, and the third is Hansiha. The moment he returned to his room, Hansiha was still in shock despite Bashin continuously scratching at his head. After that he kept punching the wall as if he was venting his frustration over some bad luck. One turned to Bashin and said, Bashin, it seems like your master has gone crazy. Hansiha's mind was filled with darkness. I hate getting into trouble, but now my rank has risen, I'm being noticed even more. These second-year students, why are you all so bad at studying? Is it acceptable for me to be looked down upon like this? Damn it, I don't understand why I'm so angry that I punched the wall to pieces. One could only smile wryly. So this chaos is due to the upcoming competition. Hansiha turned around, grimacing. I'm not even aiming for 3rd place anymore. Why do these annoying things keep happening? For him, is this considered bad luck, Surya, who always maintains 3rd place? If she hears you say that, she might just cut you off. By the way, I won't tell Solia. To change my mood, let's open the personal dungeon rewards. Hansiha suddenly remembered. Right. The personal rewards have been called for repeatedly, so I haven't had the chance to open them yet, aside from the hidden items. These are the personal rewards given to each person who conquers the dungeon. Random gacha pulls will help me entertain myself a bit in this desolate place. They say they received good relics. What will I get? After all the trouble, I should get a high-level item right. Oh, please. The moment the box slowly opens is truly heart-stopping. 3 faces peeked in with looks of panic. What is this? This is a grade A para egg guaranteed to hatch a legendary creature para with 100% probability. After racking his brain to remember, Hansiha was shocked, so he received another reptile. One burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, it's a legendary creature, truly a genius beast. Tamer from the egg. Hansiha was so angry that he just wanted to yell at the top of his lungs. Shut up! At the Magic Research Conference held in the Xenon Empire, this is a major event featuring lectures and various exhibitions from the Mage Association lasting 3 days. This place discusses academic topics in a friendly manner and gathers many talented mages from different countries to share their knowledge. The school-level competition is indeed a fierce battlefield because not only the honor of the school but also that of the nation is at stake. Hansiha slumped down, sighed, already feeling dizzy and extremely annoyed. This year's theme for the second year is pharmacology. Hansiha, do you know anything about it? Seeing Hansiha's blank expression, Adele further threatened, Well, this is serious. This morning when the principal sent the group off, he emphasized that this is your first research conference, a great opportunity to participate, test experience and learn. But if you can bring home an award, that would be great. He has been looking forward to that award. Lihan smiled brightly, seemingly untroubled. If you master the theory of brewing, it will be fine, right? We learned the basic pharmacology in our first year. Lihan pulled a book from his backpack. All right, before we get there, let's study this book quickly. Hansiha was sweating. Truly an exemplary student. You are well prepared. Hansiha could only stay back reluctantly. Adele is really mean, daring to run away alone when it was just the 2 of them left. Lihan finally asked, Hey Hansiha, back when Quan and I visited your room, did you show us some kind of map? Hansiha remembered that he had accidentally collected an item from a dark mage. Lihan had seen it by chance when passing by his room. This is considered an incident. Lihan continued to inquire, Did you bring it today? You should leave it behind. The dormitory is a bit dangerous. The thing is, when Lihan saw the map, his face turned pale, looking no different than a ghost. That's why Hansiha had to attend this troublesome event, even though just saying he was sick would have allowed him to escape easily. The magic block. Even though the Aiden Empire has many white mages living there, why do the dark mages cause so many incidents, creating chaos at the Soul Academy? After all, they do this to collect the holy relic known as the magic block, which is currently being disarmed all over the world to change the situation. The magic block helps amplify very powerful magic created by concentrating dark magic. This is a dangerous item capable of turning an ordinary mage into a great mage. The original novel defined the magic block like that. In the novel, the dark wizard secretly built a gigantic tower and successfully gathered all the magical blocks. They intended to use the tower as a magnifier and transmit infinite magic through the magical blocks to attack the world. Fortunately, according to the original novel, the main characters destroyed the tower and retrieved the magical block before it was too late. To achieve that, not only were the supporting characters involved, but the story in the novel was very bleak and desperate. The location of the magical block first appeared in the Xenon Empire. As soon as they arrived in the Xenon Empire, they headed straight to the conference hall, where they learned about pharmacology and spent a lot of time participating in various other activities. Tomorrow is the start of the exam. The principal said it would be good to bring home a prize, but to be honest, herbalism isn't my thing. Well, whatever happens, I need to rest now. Just as I lay down, it wasn't long before Hansiha had to wake up upon hearing a noise. Who is lurking there? Lihan suddenly appeared at the door. Haha, how did you notice I'm Lihan? Hansiha was annoyed, but had to hold back. If you keep being so clumsy, how could I not know? Why do you insist on using the window when the door is right there? I'm sorry, but I initially intended to contact you quietly, but there are people in the hallway. People in the hallway? Who could be there at this hour? Someone released Casper in the hallway. Hansiha froze upon hearing this, his face turning pale. Casper here is a reconnaissance wizard in an invisibility cloak on patrol. Hansiha immediately asked back, Be specific, why are they there? This isn't something the regular conference participant would do. Lihan was also confused and sighed. I'm not sure, but I'm not here just to talk about this. I have something I want to ask of you. Can you give me that map? Hansiha was taken aback and asked directly, You want it because it has the magical block inside, right? Lihan was very surprised that Hansiha knew about this. For now, Hansiha decided to pretend not to understand it deeply. Oh well, the map does mention the magical block. To be honest, Li Han must have known the true purpose of the magical block. In the past, Li Han's parents succeeded in sealing the power of the magical block, but lost their lives due to being obstructed by the dark wizards. When he saw it, he realized that they were acting again and calculating the enormous impact the power of the magical block could have on the world, which is why he was so stunned. Today, the main character of the novel, Li Han, finally made the decision to inherit his parents' will to find the magical block and protect the world. Li Han declared very decisively, "Tomorrow is the last day. The map says it is buried somewhere around here. I have to find it before leaving this place, so give it to me." Han Si-ha crossed his arms and bluntly refused. "I don't want to, and I don't like it." "Why are you so harsh?" "Don't worry, I won't use it for anything bad." "Of course I know that, but Li Han, I can't give you the map, because the first magic block has already been taken by the dark sorcerer." Han Si-ha still remembers how regretful Li Han was. His cries seemed to tear through him. "If we lose the magic block here, the difficulty of the story will increase dramatically." Han Si-ha made a serious decision. "This time let's do it my way." The main character, the young man, turned to say, "Li Han, even if I can't give you the map, I can go with you. Take me with you." Li Han appeared panicked. "I can't explain clearly, but the magic block is a dangerous item. I don't want to drag you into this risky matter." Han Si-ha understood too well. "I know you never choose the easy path. I don't know what the magic block is or why you're looking for it, but I won't be a hindrance. I don't want to give you the map, just deal with it." Eventually, Li Han, out of options, had to agree to Han Si-ha's proposal. "All right, I understand, but in return, remember, our battle tomorrow we must win. It really is one surprise after another. Now, even Li Han is going to win." "That's right, after that we have things to do." The next day, the three of them were sitting together, waiting to learn about herbs. Han Si-ha leaned on his hands, lost in thought. The night before, Li Han had told him what he needed to do. "After we win the tournament, we will break into the magic department and steal the magic block." The location of the box on the map pointed to the direction of the third basement level in the magic department, but it seems it won't be easy to get inside. The security and access are also very tightly controlled. Access will definitely be very difficult, so there is only one way to win this tournament. "I heard that the winner of this tournament will not only receive a reward, but also get to tour the magic department. They might not let us into the basement because even the staff find it hard to get in and out." Han Si-ha crossed his arms, smiling slightly. "But we could sneak in there ourselves, right? I have a proposal. I want to bring Adele along. Objectively speaking, if we try to sneak in with the box, neither of us will have a chance, but if it's three of us, then maybe we can, because the tournament is a team competition, so the magic department will allow 3 people to tour. Isn't it harder to proceed without Adele and try to hide her?" "That's true, but it might be dangerous." "Will Adele agree?" Han Si-ha confidently stated, "Don't worry about that. If it's Adele, she will be very happy if she could defeat the dark sorcerer." Time passed. Finally, the day of the match arrived, and everyone started to realize the reality. Han Si-ha was the most helpless. "Oh my God, I tried to pull Adele into this, but the truth is I know nothing about herbal medicine. What should we do now? Let's just try." The professor who appeared on stage caused a stir among everyone. It was the master of herbalism, Bruce Miller. "It's a great pleasure to meet you all. In this world, magic is not only meant to harm enemies. In fact, there are types of magic that can save people, and that is the essence of herbalism. Let's skip the boring talk. You must be eager to hear the rules of the tournament, right? It will be very simple. Based on your knowledge, you need to create a potion that has never been seen before. I will explain the rules. If you receive a perfect score from all the professors acting as judges, then you will win." The other competing teams were worried. "Have you seen the judges? They are all master wizards. How can we create a potion that satisfies all those picky judges?" On Han Si-ha's side, he was also racking his brain. "I had a vague idea about this when they told me to gather materials for the past 2 days, but the task is broader than I thought. Nevertheless, if winning this tournament is the only way to get that box, then there are no other choices. It's time to brainstorm." At this moment, the group is sitting in a moving vehicle and Earl is still in shock. "Han Si-ha, how did you do it? You didn't even know a bit of knowledge. When I saw the number of books Li Han showed you on the train, you looked like a clueless chicken. So how could you get the perfect score from that picky judging panel?" Han Si-ha said with a smug expression. The professors drank the glass potion made from Aiden Academy's team, and it suddenly made them very happy. "What is this? After drinking it, I feel so motivated. A strong creative urge is rising within me. This is the joy potion. I am very eager to create something. I feel a bit lightheaded, but very happy. It's like childhood memories are flooding back." As their mood improved, ideas began to flow, and the main spell they used was activated with greater power. Hansiha called it the artist's potion. That's right. I added some alcohol to it. Of course, it's not real alcohol, just a small amount of herbs used in the Xena Empire to brew drinks. It will be an impractical but very unique potion that can transform a person's elemental magic when used. And just like the flavor in a novel, I added a bit of seasoning to it and presented it beautifully. The result is very good, and that clever method is the highlight of the tournament. The potion has been elevated to a new level with unexpected benefits. How could it not be effective? The judges were very impressed, and as a result the whole group. They were able to safely reach the Department of Magic, and Professor Brooks Miller continuously gave high praise. I must say it's been a long time since I've seen such creative potions from students. I am very happy to see the creativity of the younger generation nowadays. You all should take this opportunity to broaden your horizons with a reward of exploring the magic law in a day. Professor Brooks Miller takes the whole group on a tour. So shall we continue to introduce what's inside? This is the office that supports enrollment and certification registration of the Academy. All the enrollment paperwork of the Academy is processed here, along with many other interesting things. Lihan and Adele were groaning fake compliments in a completely unenthusiastic tone. Wow, that's really amazing. Just wonderful. Professor Han Si-ha even felt embarrassed hearing that. No matter how boring it is, you have to compliment it in a lively way. The professor was still very carefree, even thinking the compliments were genuine, so he was even more enthusiastic than before. You are truly passionate students, so I will show you the place to stroll and the training ground. Han Si-ha felt helpless. Professor, you are a bit too carefree, we don't have time to be stuck here. Although thinking that they still had to show excitement on their faces. Han Si-ha, on behalf of the group, pretended, Professor, this tour is really interesting, but can we take a break? We feel a bit tired. That's fine, the magic law is very vast. Just then a female manager rushed in, calling Bruce Miller, Professor, can you help us a little? All right, it seems like another professor is looking for me, so you all wait here for a moment. Right after that, Han Si-ha, Lihan and Adele exchanged glances, silently understanding each other. This is a private time that cannot be missed. They were fumbling around looking for the door to the basement, not knowing when the guards would arrive, so they had to act as quickly as possible. There is only one opportunity. Whether they are discovered or not, they must find it and get out of here. This place is the third basement. Han Si-ha was startled. It seems that the group has not been discovered yet. Lihan pulled something out of his jacket. Han Si-ha, put this on, take it. This is a teleportation scroll. The guards are all focused on the fourth floor where the vault key is, so the third floor shouldn't be too dangerous. However, don't let your guard down. There are only 2 of them. If you give us both, what will you use? Lihan optimistically replied, I tried my best. I tried to buy more, but they were too expensive and rare. Han Si-ha, you came along because of me, and so did Adele. You don't know much about the magic field. You only joined to stop dark wizards. I think at least I should do something for you. If we don't get caught, it's fine. Let's go, shall we? There's something shining over there. Han Si-ha was still deep in thought, not understanding where Lihan had gotten these things from. The group followed the light. There seemed to be an actual vault inside. Lihan took another step, suddenly tripping over an invisible wire. Immediately the entire space turned red. Adele panicked. I can't believe we came all this way and triggered the alarm. What do we do now, Run? We're not even sure if the magic block is inside. Han Si-ha glared, affirming, no, I'm sure about it. What, how do you know? Han Si-ha smiled and looked at the system screen. The time limit is 24 minutes. The reward will reduce the difficulty of the mission. If you fail, you will die. The alarm rang, warning of an intruder. To ensure safety, the magic surrounding the treasure will explode. Hearing the announcement, Han Si-ha froze and shouted, everyone run now! After running for dear life, they finally managed to escape temporarily. The magic exploded. That was close to death. The young man suddenly heard someone's footsteps. That person was none other than Professor David Brunoy. He is the mathematics professor at Aiden Academy. The biggest question now is why he is here. Han Si-ha tried to explain to distract Professor, we got lost. You don't need to justify yourselves. Thanks to you, we have been able to trace the whereabouts of the magic block. At this point, not wanting to understand would be impossible. His words clearly affirmed that all the professors at Aiden Academy are dark magicians. For the students now, he no longer hides anything. The security here is too lax compared to the grand plan of finding a magic block of ours. Luckily, I intentionally released the Caspers. After losing the map, we struggled, never expecting you students to accidentally find the location of the magic block. Now move aside if you want to live. Right after that, all 3 faced off against Iver Bruno, stronger than imagined, completely outmatched. Over there exhausted, they had no strength left to defend. The power gap was too great. He did not know that Han Si-ha had picked up the magic block that fell from the broken treasure earlier. However, he could not defeat the professor and take the magic block outside. If so, there's only one way. Han-si-ha called Tolihan, then raised it up. This is the teleportation scroll you gave me along with this magic block. Take it. Adele panicked. Han-si-ha urged them to teleport quickly. Adele couldn't bear to leave. So what will you do? If you don't return safely, I won't let it go. After Lihan and Adele left, Han-si-ha had to face Diver Grunui head-on. Student Han-si-ha is indeed a notable figure, daring to steal the magic block right in front of me. I am very touched to see you sacrifice yourself for your friends to escape, but I cannot spare your life. The next day, Diver Grunui cast a spell binding Han-si-ha with magical chains. While the magic block may vanish, I heard you have a map marking the locations of the remaining magic blocks. Where is it? Answer me obediently. It's not here. You've heard nonsense, kid. Are you so scared that you're talking nonsense? What's with that arrogant attitude? Han-si-ha, despite being injured and blood continuously flowing from his mouth, still stood his ground. Arrogant, I just trust my partner. The breath of Bashin appeared from behind. Bashin attacked, biting straight into his shoulder, then breathed fire to burn off the chains wrapped around Han-si-ha, gradually dissipating. Luckily, after escaping from a surprise attack, Diver Grunui was injured to the point of having a headache, only able to curse, "Damn dragon." Han-si-ha knew this was a good opportunity for him. Just need to eliminate the professor and everything will be handled. You hesitated for a moment, afraid to act, but in the end you can't spare his life. After eliminating Diver Grunui, Han-si-ha escaped outside. Below there are 3 guys chasing after him, 2 on the left. Han-si-ha was defending himself with a magic shield, but at this rate he wouldn't last long. The magic power in his body had also reached its limit. He really couldn't hold on any longer. The young man collapsed. The attack from him was stronger than he thought. If it continues like this, he will lose his life. The moment Han-si-ha fell, they seized the opportunity. The target has fallen. At that moment they fired arrows. The magical arrows shot straight towards Han-si-ha. Bashin appeared right in front, intercepting an arrow for him and countering with a fiery breath. Truly a small creature, but powerful. The fire blazed, causing this group to panic. Damn dragon, is he a beast tamer? We must capture the beast tamer to eliminate that dragon. Hurry and catch the beast tamer first. Han-si-ha immediately stood up and continued running tightly, holding Bashin, who was groaning in pain. What should I do? You got into this mess because of me. Del, hiding in nearby bushes, heard Han-si-ha and immediately called out, I lost them, don't worry. Han-si-ha, this place is very safe. Earlier I thought you were done for. Don't do reckless things like that again. I'm sorry, I really had no other choice at that moment. Bashin is in danger. It took an arrow for me. After being hit by the arrow, immediate medical attention is necessary. Because we were too busy escaping, we missed the golden time. All living beings will die if their heart is pierced, even dragons. That's a given in a critical condition. Seeing no hope, painful memories resurfaced. Han-si-ha was immersed in it, the whispers echoing in his ears. If you can't do it, then don't. Truly a crazy guy. After all, he's doomed. If he dies during surgery, his reputation will be tarnished and the overseer will go crazy and cause trouble. If there is no hope, then from the beginning one should think for themselves. But this kid, even knowing it's like that right now, he cannot turn a blind eye. Han-si-ha calmly asked Edel, Do you still have magic medicine? Give it to me. Wait, what are you planning to do? A wound this size even the best professor can't save? No, I will be able to save it. This medicine will enhance creativity. If you take this, the drinker will turn the non-existent into something. What Han-si-ha needs right now is a very small ability. No matter what happens, you must absolutely save what is most important to you. Adele really doesn't understand Han-si-ha. She knows that the Crimson Dragon is very rare, but there are many other monsters that can be tamed. Bassin lies in pain, trying to breathe on the ground. Right now, Han-si-ha's body is still in trouble, yet he uses all his magic to save a monster that can't be saved. Adele wants to stop Han-si-ha. If things don't go as planned, she might lose him too. But looking at Han-si-ha's determined expression, she doesn't know how to stop him. Han-si-ha's face is tense. All right, I'll pull out the arrow. Now he just needs to stitch up the wound and it's done. Han-si-ha must do this work himself. He takes a deep breath and exhales to calm himself. In his previous life, no matter how many times he did this, whether it was 10 or 100 times, every time he stood in front of the operating room, his hands would shake, and in the end he ran away countless times. Until one day he couldn't even hold a scalpel. But now those once trembling hands are moving very confidently. Don't worry, it seems like you'll be able to save Bassin. Han-si-ha smiles with satisfaction. It's done, the surgery was successful. Bassin's expression is much brighter. Lihan is very surprised. Wow, who would have thought that operating and stitching up the body of a dragon on the verge of death could save it? He has never heard of this method before. Could it be magic? It's not magic, he replied. Adele comes closer to check. Impressive, not using healing magic, and Bassin is breathing normally again, and the blood has stopped flowing. Hansiha feels that healing a monster through surgery seems quite unfamiliar in this world, so he can understand why they are so surprised. Just a moment ago, Bazin's condition was still critical. It shouldn't have survived. But earlier, if only medicine was used without magic, that surgery would definitely have failed. Above all, if you were in Korea now, people would have reported that you are not maintaining hygiene. Hansiha sighs, leaning back to rest. However, this is not Korea. Basin is not a dog, but a dragon, and he is no longer the Hansiha of the past. All of these things combined create a miracle. Notification system successfully applied. Healing light link conditions are effective. Basin's condition has improved very well. The wounds are also gradually healing. Hansiha sat beside, observing. He was glad that he could save Basin. Hansiha looked at his little dragon suffering in pain like that. His gaze was filled with concern. "Hang in there, Basin. I don't know who keeps screaming your name." Hansiha then lost consciousness. When Hansiha opened his eyes, he saw the familiar ceiling. Hansiha heard people recounting that he had been unconscious for several days, and the doctors at the Aiden Academy were currently treating him. According to Adele, who had been taking care of him for the past few days while making a fuss, the Aiden Academy had roughly assessed the situation and dealt with the aftermath. But even so, it seems like it couldn't stop the rumors from spreading outside. The top students of the Aiden Academy have been spreading rumors that outsiders attacked the academy, and it seems that the attack is related to the recent riot caused by dark sorcerers. Reflecting back, Hansiha found that the rumor was surprisingly accurate. The adults must be having a headache trying to clean up that mess, but it's okay because he is no longer an adult. Then Lihan took the cube in his hand. Right now, many organizations are searching for this, including the Department of Magic and some academies. Nothing is certain, but perhaps the dark sorcerers are also looking for this missing cube. Adele clenched her fists. The two of them had fought very hard to get this, so the group wouldn't let anyone take it away. "I agree, but a trial regarding the incident at the Department of Magic will take place tomorrow." "What?" Hansiha didn't expect to hear such shocking news right after waking up. So it has come to this level already. But Hansiha sighed tiredly because it was in his hands. He wouldn't let them take it away from him.